simply completely spoiled. His mind is immature, no different from a child. On this point, Song Yi's analysis was almost completely correct. If not for an immature child's mindset, how could he possibly choose to sever his own limbs rather than confess to his crimes himself? That's exactly how those bratty kids are. Even when the evidence is laid out right in front of them, they refuse to admit their mistakes and dare not face them. They will stubbornly insist they did nothing wrong. Even if they are in the wrong, they will only apologize on the surface while remaining defiant deep down. As the female characters read along, they also found themselves agreeing. Du Guyan, exactly, this Tang Hao is clearly a prime example of mental immaturity. Du Guyan, I remember I was like that too when I was a kid. If I made a mistake, I'd stubbornly refuse to admit it. Even if I did admit it, it was only because my grandfather beat me, and I was completely defiant inside. Needle-tailed Swift, the key point is that you said that was when you were a kid. How many years has Tang Hao lived? He's a middle-aged man in his dozens. Needle-tailed Swift, what, even in middle age, he still wants to play the pure, innocent boy routine, is that it? Needle-tailed Swift, should we also start a fandom for Tang Hao, set up a simple, innocent boy persona, and build him up as the epitome of a devoted lover? BB Dong, this kind of thing is simply disgusting to even hear about. BB Dong, at Blue Silver Eternal, at Yuehua, how on earth did you two fall for a man like Tang Hao? BB Dong, others scold me and say my taste in men is terrible. From where I'm standing, yours isn't any better. Blue Silver Eternal, who could have thought that Brother Hao's true face would actually be like this? Yuehua, indeed, I misjudged Brother Hao as well. Perhaps we were both deceived by that immature, youthful spirit. Calm and composed back then, wasn't I also deceived by Yu Xiaogang because of that so-called youthful spirit? In reality, Xiaogang was also spoiled by the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. Calm and composed, once a problem arises, Xiaogang won't take any responsibility either, because he and Tang Hao share the exact same mindset. Chapter 128, Returning the Spirit Bone, then taking it back. Where did your apology go? Hot girl, you have quite the eye for men. Out of all the men in the Duluo continent, you managed to find these few idiots. Du Guyan, you have quite the eye for men. Goose Feather Snow, you have quite the eye for men. ... 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Although Xiao Wu had now cut ties with Tang San, she still couldn't help but pay attention to him. After all, they once had feelings for each other, it was difficult to cut ties completely so quickly. Regardless, seeing what the light screen said, that Tang Hao would even go so far as to cut off his own limbs just to force Tang San to apologize for him, she was shocked. Xiao Wu could imagine Tang San alone, facing the entire Clear Sky sect. One wrong move, and he might be bullied by the people of the Clear Sky sect. Thinking of this, Xiao Wu was filled with mixed emotions. Tang San, perhaps his selfishness is influenced by his father. Such a father is truly disappointing, he's just too awful. Ning Rongrong also agreed from the side. We both have fathers, but I feel my father is quite good. He has pampered me since I was young, and there's never been any possibility of me getting hurt. Comparing them like this, Tang Hao is truly unworthy of being a father. Zhu Zuqing pondered her own father, who had almost no presence in her life, and she didn't say anything. However, it only made Zhu Zuqing despise the Tang clan father and son even more. The three women continued watching as they talked. ... Blue Silver Forest. Ai sighed helplessly. Brother Hao, no matter how I think about it, I can't imagine it. How could you be like this? Even if it meant returning to the Clear Sky sect to apologize, you weren't willing. If you weren't willing, that would be fine, but you still wanted the Clear Sky sect to forgive you. What were you thinking, actually making your own son apologize for you, making a child bear so many things for you? You are a father. Without the guidance of the light screen, you couldn't even be sure if Tang San was your son. And even after you acknowledged him as your own son, you still wanted him to bear everything for you. Is this reasonable? Is this even right? As Ai spoke, she sighed helplessly. Facing such a man, she only felt despair. Now, the regret in Ai's heart was constantly accumulating. If things continued like this, she might even get the idea that she had been deceived by Tang Hao and want to get rid of him. Ai had no choice but to continue watching the light screen to see what else would follow. ... In the light screen. Tang Hao is quite the talent, forcing his own son to go to the Clear Sky sect to apologize, and the result, naturally, was that Tang San was subjected to all sorts of discrimination. If it weren't for Tang Hao's brother, Tang Xiao, protecting him, Tang San would have long been killed by those elders of the Clear Sky sect. It is evident that Tang Hao was pushing his own son into a den of tigers, ignoring everything else and only thinking about his own satisfaction. After that, with Tang Xiao's help and Tang San's hard work, the elders of the Clear Sky sect were willing to give Tang San and Tang Hao a chance. And regarding the point of, at level 50 I am timid, at level 90 I throw heavy punches. Some people are right. Why did Tang San speak so righteously about his father being in the right when he was level 90, yet admit his father was wrong when he was level 50? Because at that time, what Tang Hao told Tang San was to go and apologize. Don't worry about anything else, just apologize for your father first. Even if Tang San wanted to make excuses for his father, at that time Tang Hao just wanted him to apologize, so what could he do? Afterwards, after various events, sacrifices, and Sea God Island, Tang San finally reached level 90. Tang San first resurrected Xiao Wu, then resurrected his mother, and then brought Tang Hao back to the Clear Sky sect. By this time, Tang San had already obtained Tang Chen's token, and with Tang Chen backing him, Tang San was convinced that his father was not wrong. He brought his parents back to the Clear Sky sect, and at this point in the plot, there is also Ian's dissatisfaction with the Clear Sky sect. It is said that Ian was very unhappy with the Clear Sky sect and even held many grudges because the sect had ignored Tang Hao all these years. Wait, are you brain dead? What do you mean by, ignored him? Your Tang Hao hid himself away. Did you think the Clear Sky sect didn't want to care for him? Even if the elders didn't want to care, Tang Hao's brother at least wanted to bring Tang Hao back, right? You, Tang Hao, were hiding in a small village so close to Spirit Hall. How could they care for you or look after you? It wasn't just Ian. Tang San thought the same thing. You two are truly mother and son. Can you please clarify who caused the trouble and harmed the sect? It was Tang Hao who occupied 2 spirit bones, and it was Tang Hao who angered his own father to death. It was Tang Hao who never took responsibility. With Tang Hao hiding, who could find him? So, Tang Hao having issues is one thing, but Ian's idiotic brain is also a key part of the problem. After returning to the Clear Sky sect, Tang San took out the Clear Sky token, and the elders of the Clear Sky sect had no choice but to submit. Immediately after, Tang San was about to restore his father Tang Hao's severed limbs. Here comes the funny part. Tang Hao previously kept saying that he owed the Clear Sky sect, so he had to return the spirit bones. But in the end, in order to restore his strength, he absorbed the spirit bones anyway. Oh, so the apology is retracted. These days, can someone who made a mistake just retract the evidence of their confession? Combining this with what was said earlier, regarding Tang Hao's 2 spirit bones and the Clear Sky sect's investment, they didn't just fail to recover the investment, they only got back the 2 spirit bones. Now, even the spirit bones are gone again. Tang Hao will continue to be arrogant, continue to refuse to take responsibility, and continue to let Tang Xiao handle everything. In the end, the Clear Sky sect suffered a huge loss and got nothing. Just like that, the Clear Sky sect raised an outsider who did absolutely no work. In short, having someone like Tang Hao born into the Clear Sky sect is truly the sect's greatest disaster, the unluckiest thing to ever happen. Some people even say, if Tang Hao hadn't given birth to Tang San, wouldn't the Clear Sky sect have been destroyed or annexed by Spirit Hall later anyway? People who say such things are sick. Without Tang San, the Duluo continent wouldn't even exist. Without Tang San, the Duluo continent is gone, so where would Spirit Hall come from? Without Tang Hao, wouldn't the protagonist Tang San still appear? It would just be a change of background. You could even find reasons to defend Tang San, but defending Tang Hao is truly incomprehensible. As Song Yi wrote this, his sharp critique of Tang Hao was coming to an end. The follow-up would just be about the battle of the 2 gods and some of Tang Hao's issues. However, just by reaching this point, the connected female characters all understood how disgusting Tang Hao was. This wasn't just ordinary disgust, it could even be said that Tang San's warped values were very likely influenced by Tang Hao. After all, Tang San is just a feudal warrior who listens to his teacher and his father. With such a teacher and father, could Tang San's values possibly be normal? Chapter 129, Tang Hao's combat power forced upwards. Is even Qian Dalyu and Gold Crocodile Duluo inferior to him? Even the female characters linked one by one, seeing such an introduction, felt helpless and deeply disgusted. Du Guyan, I really can't understand this. Why take back the spirit bone once it has been returned? Du Guyan, oh, so the Clear Sky sect became so miserable because of Tang Hao, and even the spirit bone that was given out still has to remain on Tang Hao. Du Guyan, Tang Hao isn't doing anything, so why should the spirit bone be given to him? If you, Tang San, are so capable, why don't you go find 2 more spirit bones for Tang Hao? Bing Bing is polite, it's truly unexpected. Who could have foreseen that this Tang Hao is so shameless? Bing Bing is polite. Earlier he said he wanted to apologize, said he was sorry to the sect, and said he wanted to atone by returning the spirit bone, but then he took it back. For such a beast, there are still people defending him, that is truly incomprehensible. I am an orphan. The funny thing is, people say returning the spirit bone is atonement, but in reality, he hasn't done anything for atonement, right? I am an orphan. Isn't returning the spirit bone just his duty? This can't count as atonement, can it? It means that while he shouts about atonement, in reality, after so long, he isn't willing to do anything. Bibi Dong, that Qian Zunji could be beaten so badly by such an idiot, even I feel ashamed. Not to mention, after Qian Zunji died, his old man, Qian Dalyu, also went to hunt down Tang Hao. Bibi Dong, and the result? He couldn't even hunt down a severely injured Tang Hao. I really don't know what is so powerful about this Tang Hao. I am an orphan, so you are confident you can beat Tang Hao? Charming fox. In any case, Tang Hao is indeed disgusting. It's fortunate that such a person is not from Spirit Hall, otherwise, Spirit Hall would have been doomed sooner or later. Calm and composed. Doesn't this amount to borrowing someone's money, paying it back, and then immediately wanting to borrow it again? Then what is the difference between that and having paid it back? Calm and composed. Looking at it this way, I feel Tang Hao is even more disgusting than Yu Xiaogang. At least Yu Xiaogang wouldn't do such a shameless thing. Most loyal believer of the sea god, this sharp commentary has made my feelings for Tang Chen waver a bit. Most loyal believer of the sea god, that Tang Chen could support such a descendant shows that perhaps there are some issues with Tang Chen's heart as well. Sigh. Blue Silver Eternal Sigh. It must be said, this move of taking back the returned spirit bone is something not even the greatest manipulator could think of. As a result, Tang Hao talked about atonement, yet did nothing. It was as if all karma was directly resolved, as if the people of the Clear Sky sect had collectively put on a forgiveness hat. Ian watched, and didn't even have the energy to complain. Moon Pavilion. Only Tang Yuehua, as she was still a member of the Clear Sky sect and also the younger sister of Tang Hao and Tang Xiao. Looking at the content on the light screen, and watching the sharp commentary on Tang Hao all the way through. Tang Yuehua only had one feeling, she was completely disappointed in her brother, Tang Hao. On the contrary, thinking about it carefully, her eldest brother, Tang Xiao, was the one who could be called a man. Tang Yuehua murmured. Second brother, I thought you at least had a little bit of face. Returning the Clear Sky sect spirit bone could be considered part of the atonement. I wasn't even prepared to ask what else you had done for atonement. Just like this, I couldn't imagine that you would still take back the spirit ring. You haven't fulfilled a single responsibility as the future sect master, so what right do you have to take back the spirit bone? Big brother has worked for so many years, no matter what, these two spirit bones should obviously be given to big brother, right? If you want to restore your strength, can't you just ask Tang San to find two spirit bones for you? You want to take the sect's property, but you don't shoulder the sect's responsibilities. Second brother. From now on, I, Tang Yuehua, will never have any expectations of you again. You have disappointed people to the extreme. Having said this, Tang Yuehua shook her head. Even if she had liked Tang Hao, seeing such a Tang Hao, she had lost the slightest bit of interest. Even for the sake of the sect, she must never get involved with this person, Tang Hao, again. In the light screen. Amidst the complaints from the female characters one by one, the sharp commentary on Tang Hao was also nearing its end. Everything Tang Hao has done, there is hardly a single thing that a normal person would have the nerve to do. But fortunately, Tang Hao's skin is thick enough, so he enjoys all kinds of benefits without any pressure at all. After this, it is the battle between the two gods. And combined with the final battle, one can also see another speechless and unreasonable point about Tang Hao's character. Tang Hao's combat power is completely broken, it is simply forcibly raised whenever needed. For example, in this divine battle, does Tang Hao have a role? In reality, perhaps he does. In the battle, the opponent Tang Hao faced was Spirit Hall's second elder, Gold Crocodile Duluo, that terrifying powerhouse who cultivated to rank 98 on his own. Tang Hao's performance mainly consisted of beating Gold Crocodile Duluo back with 2 hammer strikes. This is also where many of Tang Hao's fans boast, saying that Tang Hao is even more awesome than the rank 98 Gold Crocodile Duluo, almost comparable to a peak Duluo. But in reality, one shouldn't forget that before Gold Crocodile Duluo received Tang Hao's hammer, he had already faced the divine rank martial soul fusion skill from both Dai Mubai and Zhu Qing, the divine rank Hell White Tiger. Even so, Tang Hao's 2 hammer strikes didn't actually cause any obvious damage to Gold Crocodile Duluo. At this time, Tang Hao had already risen to rank 97, which was even stronger than before. At this time, he couldn't defeat Gold Crocodile Duluo, but another strange point is, how did Tang Hao defeat Qian Zunji and 2 titled Duluo back then when he had just entered the titled Duluo realm, and was able to defeat 3 titled Duluo? You say it was Ring Explosion, but in reality, after Tang Hao defeated Qian Zunji and used Ring Explosion, how could Tang Hao survive the pursuit of Qian Dalyu, a peak Duluo? Qian Dalyu himself has an angel spirit, a divine rank spirit, plus his limit Duluo rank, and on top of that, Tang Hao couldn't use Ring Explosion again. Yet Tang Hao still managed to escape. Even early on, Tang Hao said the side effect of Ring Explosion was that it would take a long time to recover after use. But later, Ring Explosion seemed so cheap, he would explode one, then explode another. Originally, it was said he needed to recover, but we never saw how he recovered. This makes one wonder, is Tang Hao's combat power high or low? How can he not cause significant damage to Gold Crocodile Duluo at one moment? And at another moment, he can handle 3 titled Duluo and escape the pursuit of a limit Duluo. One moment he says there is a long recovery period after Ring Explosion, and the next moment he explodes a spirit ring and seems like nothing happened. So the disgusting thing about this person, Tang Hao, is not just that his character and mindset are problematic. Even his combat power is inconsistent, it is simply labeled and performed randomly. To put it directly, it is just to give Tang San a badass father. Therefore, repeatedly forcibly raising Tang Hao's combat power is as if Tang Hao is that exaggerated existence, to some extent even more exaggerated than Tang San. Just such a character, he makes people feel 360 degrees, regardless of character, intelligence, or combat performance, completely unable to find a single attractive point. Because the existence of such a character itself is a brain-dead design. Chapter 130, Tang Hao's sharp review finished. Yin Wu Song Yi. In short, to sum it all up, closing square bracket. The character of Tang Hao, in many situations, is truly far more disgusting than Tang San. Closing square bracket. Many of Tang San's problems aren't visible early on, only when combined with later events can Tang San's true issues be highlighted. Closing square bracket. But Tang Hao's problems are already obviously abnormal, needless to say. Closing square bracket. To his wife, Tang Hao is not a good husband, he dragged her around while she was in labor. Closing square bracket. To his father, Tang Hao is not a good son, he literally angered his own father to death. Closing square bracket. To his brother, Tang Hao is not a good younger brother, he took the benefits but left his brother to bear the responsibility. Closing square bracket. To the sect, Tang Hao is not a good successor, he returned the spirit bone only to take it back later for profit, showing no responsibility. Closing square bracket. To his younger sister, Tang Hao is not a good older brother, he knew the importance of the Moon Pavilion yet still caused trouble there. Closing square bracket. To his son, Tang Hao is not a good father, he ignored his son and didn't care whether he lived or died. Closing square bracket. Not to mention, in the future era, Tang Hao will even become the so-called Plain Master, colluding with Tang San to cause the deaths of so many people. Closing square bracket. Such a character is truly capable of making one completely disappointed, from a sibling's perspective, one can't find a single redeeming quality. Closing square bracket. That's about it for the sharp review of the Tang Hao couple. The main problem still lies with Tang Hao. Closing square bracket. As the final sentence appeared, the text Song Yi was typing gradually came to a halt. It must be said, there is quite a lot to sharply review regarding Tang Hao. After reading through, the various characters could only sigh endlessly, even feeling ashamed. Du Guyan only after summarizing it like this can one see that Tang Hao has been of absolutely no use or benefit to anyone around him. Quote. Bing Bing is polite, that's right, how did he manage to treat his younger sister, older brother, father, son, wife, in short, everyone, so miserably? Quote. Bing Bing is polite this, it's just too frustrating. It's like anyone who gets involved with him is bound to have bad luck. Quote. Calm and composed, at the end of the day, it's all because this Tang Hao is too selfish, which is why he harms the interests of those around him. Quote. Calm and composed, to put it bluntly, this Tang Hao doesn't even deserve to live in this world. Quote. BB Dong, no matter. We at Spirit Hall have been searching for him all along. Sooner or later, we will find him, and I will personally deal with him. Quote. Needle-tailed Swift, you aren't any better either. Regardless, I will deal with you and the Tang clan members as well. Quote. All the female characters discussed it one after another, never stopping. ... Blue Silver Forest. Ian watched the end of the sharp review on the light screen, feeling only a sense of sighing and emotion. Brother Hao, in the past, I truly failed to notice these problems of yours. Quote. It wasn't until I saw this summary of the sharp review that I realized it seems you haven't been very good to anyone around you at all. Quote. I'm sorry, Brother Hao. As for the past, let's just say I misjudged you. Quote. Perhaps in the future, you and I are truly no longer suited to be together. Quote. If I am ever to see you again, you and I can only be strangers. Quote. Watching the sharp review on the light screen conclude, Ian knew that her fate with Tang Hao had come to an end. There was no point in saying anything more. Her only goal in the future was to reclaim the Blue-Silver Emperor bloodline and deal with that Tang San who had occupied her child's body. Ian murmured to herself. It's just a pity that Tang San has Tang Hao's protection, I cannot deal with them right now. Quote. Even if I recover my cultivation, I still wouldn't be able to deal with the rapidly growing Tang San. Quote. As time passes, Tang San will soon grow into a colossus. Quote. He is the future legacy holder of the Sea God and the Asura God, he is not someone I will be able to oppose in the future. Quote. If I want to deal with them, I must find someone who can oppose Tang San in the future. Quote. Ian fell into deep contemplation. The only person she could think of for the time being was that BB Dong. It seemed only BB Dong could become a god and deal with that animal Tang San in the future. But it was impossible for her to cooperate with BB Dong. BB Dong would definitely kill her to drop a spirit ring. Besides her, who else was there? Unconsciously, Ian thought of Song Yi, who had sent her here in the first place. Ian murmured. That young man seems to possess potential no less than Tang San's. Quote. If I can rely on his power, would it be possible to deal with the highly potential Tang San in the future? Quote. But I have now recovered my cultivation, and by doing so, reached level 70, becoming a true human. Quote. Even if I were killed now, it wouldn't necessarily drop a spirit ring or spirit bone. Quote. What benefits do I have left to trade with him so that he would deal with Tang San and help me reclaim my child's body? Quote. Speaking of this, Ian felt even more lost. Unconsciously, she saw the Blue-Silver King who had been silently guarding her by her side. The Blue-Silver King noticed Ian's gaze and asked in confusion. My king, what are you thinking about? Quote. Ian sighed and told the Blue-Silver King everything. Upon hearing this, the Blue-Silver King was very surprised, not expecting that the previous Blue-Silver Emperor would really fight against the current Blue-Silver Emperor. But this was only right, after all, the previous Blue-Silver Emperor was the true monarch. And this current Blue-Silver Emperor, that Tang San, was not of Ian's bloodline, so of course he had no right to be the Blue-Silver Emperor. The Blue Silver King was very angry at the time, but helpless. Now hearing that Ian wanted to use that human's power to deal with N.A.N. The Blue Silver King knew this was for the future of the Blue Silver clan. After pondering for a long time, the Blue Silver King took the initiative to speak. My king, quote. Perhaps you can use me to win over that human, quote. My king, I am also a Blue Silver King. Last time, when that N.A.N. underwent awakening as the Blue Silver Emperor, it allowed me to absorb a trace of life energy, and my age has already reached 90,000 years. Quote. If we gather the life force of our Blue Silver clan, I might be able to give it a try and achieve the 100,000-year Spirit Beast level in a short time. Quote. Of course, without the Blue Silver Emperor bloodline, my achieving the 100,000-year Spirit Beast level won't be of much use. Quote. But if I use my sacrifice to exchange for that human's help, I think that human will be willing. Quote. I sensed it when he brought you here last time, his spirit also seems to carry the aura of life. Quote. But, to kill a N.A.N., I must sacrifice you. Ian listened, feeling very guilty. The Blue Silver King shook his head and said, My king, have you forgotten? I am also Blue Silver Grass, right? Quote. Even if I sacrifice myself, I have seeds that can remain. As long as enough time passes, I will be able to recover. Quote. What I lose is not my soul, but only my cultivation in my 100,000-year body. Quote. This is for the sake of the entire Blue Silver clan, I am willing. Quote. Only by taking back the position of Blue Silver Emperor can our Blue Silver clan truly thrive in the future. Quote. Chapter 131 Connecting Do 2 and Do 3. 3 Terrifying Rewards. After hearing this, Ian sighed with emotion and made up her mind. To appease the Blue Silver King, Ian said. Rest assured, after I reclaim the position of Blue Silver Emperor in the future, I will never be deceived by humans again. I will definitely make the Blue Silver clan truly thrive. This is what we should do, King. The Blue Silver King continued to bow in submission. Forcing the Blue Silver King to mature, it was unclear how many Blue Silver Grass would need to help so that this Blue Silver King could rapidly increase its 10,000-year cultivation. Even if it were possible, it would likely require sacrificing many ordinary Blue Silver Grass. But the greatest strength of the Blue Silver clan was their unity, those Blue Silver Grass were willing. Otherwise, if the Blue Silver Emperor remained at N.A.N., the Blue Silver clan would likely lose its future completely. At the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang Well. Song Yi took a deep breath. With this sharp critique, he had almost finished critiquing the last important character of Do-I. He muttered to himself. Now that even Tang Hao and his wife have been critiqued, who else is left to critique? Never mind that for now, let's look at my rewards. This is a round number, the 10th critique, the rewards should be rich enough, right? He stepped forward to look, and sure enough, there were 3 items in the light screen. Congratulations to the master for completing the critique task. This critique is extraordinary. Congratulations to the master for obtaining the rewards. All spirit ring age limits increased by 5,000 years, obtained a 4th heaven sent spirit ring, current rank insufficient, can be stored, and 100,000 year speed type growth capable left leg spirit bone. When Song Yi saw this, he couldn't help but gasp. 3 whole rewards, and every single one is so exaggerated. Great, wonderful. He absorbed them one by one on the spot. First, he absorbed the 5,000 year increase for all spirit rings. In an instant, a massive amount of power poured into Song Yi's body. He hurriedly summoned his spirit rings and saw his first spirit ring and second spirit ring immediately transform from purple to black. Last time he added 5,000 years, and this time another 5,000, it inevitably reached 10,000 years. And his third spirit ring, having increased by 10,000 years, plus the fact that Song Yi had consumed whale glue, gave him even stronger endurance. The third heaven-sent spirit ring had directly reached the level of nearly 40,000 years, already comparable to many people's 7th spirit ring. Looking at it this way, just the spirit ring configuration on Song Yi was enough to scare away a large number of spirit masters. Song Yi looked at the 3 black spirit rings on his body and exclaimed excitedly. Who would have thought that I, with a total of 3 spirit rings, now have all of them over 10,000 years old? Terrifying, when I display my spirit rings, no one of the same rank will want to fight me, right? Song Yi gasped, also feeling it was terrifying. However, there were other rewards. The 4th heaven-sent spirit ring was also successfully absorbed into his body. This spirit ring could be stored, so when he reached rank 40, he could quickly absorb it. Heaven-sent spirit rings could grow in the future, and reaching 100,000 years was just a matter of time. As for the final third reward, the 100,000-year left leg bone, it was also a speed attribute. Song Yi quickly absorbed it. This spirit bone was also heaven-sent, so it was absorbed very quickly, taking only a dozen minutes or so. Song Yi muttered, now, I have spirit bones in both legs. The right leg is life attribute, and the left leg is speed attribute. Coupled with the fact that the Blue Silver Emperor spirit bone on the right leg already has flight capability, the speed spirit bone on the left leg provides powerful speed enhancement. With my flight speed, I'm afraid few people will be able to oppose me. This time, it truly deserves to be the 10th critique character, the rewards were indeed substantial. However, Song Yi took a deep breath and looked at the light screen. He muttered, who else can I critique later? It really feels like this Do-I character, and even the entire Do-I storyline, has been completely critiqued by me. It won't go to Do-2, will it? Just then, after he finished absorbing the rewards, new content appeared on the light screen in the sky. Detected that the important plot of Do-I has been generally critiqued. The plot content of Do-2 and Do-3 will be opened later. The time for future critiques can be set freely. Please set the time for the next critique, Master. Song Yi was indeed pleasantly surprised when he saw this. Are we really going to critique Do-2 and Do-3 characters? And opening 2 eras at once? I still have some impressions of Do-2 characters, but I need some time to recall. And I just received the rewards, I haven't absorbed the 4th ring yet. I consumed whale glue, I probably still need 3 or 5 more ranks to reach rank 40, I have to wait a while. Anyway, whether the critique is early or late, I will get the rewards in the end. Then let's focus on cultivation first and raise my rank. Thinking of this, Song Yi simply set the time for the next critique to 1 year later. Otherwise, if the set time was too short, his rank wouldn't keep up with the absorption of rewards, and he would have a treasure mountain but be unable to absorb it. Plus, having to recall the Duluo continent he watched back then every day for these 10 days was too stressful, and he almost couldn't remember many details. He also needed to stabilize for a while. Setting it for a year later, he didn't expect that the characters in the light screen would also see the new content on the light screen. Next critique will open the critique of Duluo continent characters from 10,000 years later and 20,000 years later. The new era of Duluo continent character critiques will officially begin in 1 year. Stay tuned. The connected female characters watched, all feeling surprised involuntarily. Du Guyan, what? In 1 year we will critique Duluo continent characters from 10,000 years and 20,000 years later. Du Guyan, oh my god, such a distant future will be revealed to us. No, we can't change anything by watching it, right? Bing Bing is polite, being able to see the future is good after all. I also want to know if I will have any descendants in 10,000 years. BB Dong, 10,000 years later. Tang San should have been a god for a long time by then, right? I wonder what Duluo continent will become after being influenced by him. Calm and composed when critiquing Tang San before, it seemed the title was limited to critiquing the Tang San of Do-I, which is probably the Tang San of our era. Calm and composed, in other words. We will critique Tang San from different eras later. This Tang San, it seems he really knows how to cause trouble. BB Dong, great, I insist on seeing what this future Tang San can do. Most loyal believer of the sea god, I also want to see what the situation is after Tang San becomes the sea god. Most loyal believer of the sea god, if Sea God Island is really gone, then I will never agree to let this beast Tang San be the future sea god. Seeing such a preview, all the female characters were a bit curious but also nervous. Who would have thought that things from tens of thousands of years in the future could also be known to them? It seems that this light screen is going to connect various eras. It might even be possible to connect with female characters from 10,000 years later in the comments section later. Chapter 132, Bai Chenqiang submits voluntarily. A second woman arrives. After Song Yi finished absorbing the rewards, there was nothing special left for him to do. In the time that followed, what he needed to do was first raise his spirit power rank, and only then talk about commenting on the characters of Duluo Dalui and Duluo 3. Furthermore, having just absorbed a spirit bone, he also needed to briefly adapt to its skills. This 100,000-year left leg bone was obtained by the system from a spirit beast called a Wind Phoenix, and it possessed 2 skills. One was to increase his own speed, achieving an effect similar to teleportation or a flash. The other was to condense the power of a hurricane for an attack, and it was also an area of effect attack ability. After a brief period of adaptation, the next day arrived in the blink of an eye. Du Guyan came to visit him proactively, just as she usually did. Brother Yi Tilda. Looking at Du Guyan, who had already become his woman, Song Yi always seemed to feel a bit better. However, he didn't expect that this time when Du Guyan came over, she had actually brought another woman with her. Song Yi was very surprised when he saw this. Du Guyan, have you made a new friend? Following behind Du Guyan was a young girl, slightly younger than Du Guyan, around 14 or 15 years old, with twin ponytails and slightly purple hair. After this girl entered the ice and fire yin-yang well, she had been protected by Du Guyan to isolate her from the poisonous gas, otherwise, she would have long since been harmed by the toxins. Du Guyan smiled and explained. Brother Yi, this is Bai Chenqiang, a descendant of the Speed clan among the legendary 4 great clans. Due to an opportunity, she wants to join you. Join me. Song Yi had no idea what was going on. But how could he not be familiar with Bai Chenqiang? She was originally one of the important supporting characters in Duluo continent. Looking closely, although this Bai Chenqiang could not compare to the peerless beauty of Ning Rongrong and the others, her appearance was still top tier, she just lacked the special temperament of the 3 Shrek women. The Speed clan was in great difficulty, so Bai Chenqiang had a bit of a rustic air and simply hadn't cultivated that kind of temperament. In terms of looks alone, her appearance was not far behind. Song Yi was very puzzled. How did Bai Chenqiang end up with Du Guyan? It seemed that ever since he got involved in the plot, the story had been deviating more and more. In the original work, Bai Chenqiang never even spoke to Du Guyan, right? How did they meet by opportunity? And this girl even said she wanted to join him. Song Yi was very confused and was just about to ask. At this moment, Bai Chenqiang took the initiative to speak. Brother Yi, I am Bai Chenqiang. Du Guyan is right, I want to join you. Brother Yi, I am a member of the Speed Clan. Our Speed Clan was originally one of the affiliated sects of the Clear Sky sect, but because the Clear Sky sect provoked Spirit Hall, it brought disaster upon us. Our Speed Clan is managed by my grandfather, but for the sake of face, he hasn't allowed us to go out and earn money for all these years, so the Speed Clan has been living in dire straits. I think that in our current state, we will likely have no chance of taking revenge against Spirit Hall and the Clear Sky sect in the future. It just so happened that I met Sister Du Guyan, and she introduced me to you, saying you have great potential. I only asked to be able to join you, so that in the future, I might receive some help to create a brand new era for my Speed Clan. Bai Chenqiang had made her point very clear, it was nothing more than her knowing her own future and that of the Speed Clan from the commentary. Back then, in the comment section, she had started contacting Du Guyan and then took the initiative to seek him out. She was simply thinking of finding someone who could deal with the future N.A.N and BB Dong. If Song Yi really had that kind of potential and ability, it wouldn't be excessive for her to join him. At the very least, there would be a chance to avenge the Speed Clan, and a chance to avoid becoming a mere accessory to that Ma Hongjun. But even when saying this, Bai Chenqiang never mentioned the light screen commentary. Such things were too shocking and not suitable for Song Yi to know yet. Upon hearing this, Song Yi fell into deep thought. He muttered to himself. Could it be that meeting by chance is what caused Du Guyan to change Bai Chenqiang's mind? Or perhaps Bai Chenqiang was already dissatisfied with her grandfather, and now that she met Du Guyan and saw an opportunity, she decided to seek me out. It seems Du Guyan must have told her some things about me, otherwise, Bai Chenqiang wouldn't believe it, nor would she come to join me. I do need to build my own team. Starting with Bai Chenqiang to intercept the 4 great clans might just work. After thinking for a while, Song Yi finally nodded and said. If anyone wants to join me, I naturally welcome it. However, this is not a shelter. I have long heard that the Speed Clan triumphs through speed, I wonder if I could witness it. Why don't you and I have a simple speed competition to see each other's level? When Bai Chenqiang heard this, she was slightly pleased. She had originally wanted to find an excuse to test Song Yi to see if he was truly as exaggerated and full of potential as Du Guyan had said. Now that the other party had brought it up himself, it was naturally a good thing. Thinking of this, Bai Chenqiang immediately agreed, please, enlighten me. Without another word, both of them immediately summoned their spirits and spirit rings. At this moment, Bai Chenqiang already had 3 spirit rings, but it looked like she had just entered the 3-ring stage. Her yellow, purple spirit ring configuration appeared. And Song Yi naturally didn't hide anything either. 3 pitch black, 10,000-year spirit rings appeared simultaneously. Immediately after, a tree of life spirit appeared in Song Yi's hand. As soon as these spirit rings appeared, they immediately terrified Bai Chenqiang and Du Guyan. 10,000-year spirit rings. How is this possible? They are actually all 10,000-year spirit rings. This is impossible, how could this be? When Bai Chenqiang saw this, she was stunned on the spot. There were only 3 spirit rings in total, yet they were all at the 10,000-year level. Under normal circumstances, wasn't it only possible to absorb a 10,000-year spirit ring starting from the 5th one? This was too exaggerated, too incredible. While shocked, Bai Chenqiang quickly looked at Du Guyan, thinking to herself. What Sister Du Guyan said was really true. This brother Yi is truly a monster, it seems only he can deal with BB Dong and N.A.N. Such a spirit ring configuration is something only a monster could achieve. But when she turned to look, she found that Du Guyan was also terrified. Du Guyan was almost dazed as she said. Brother Yi, how is this possible? Weren't your spirit rings 2 purple and 1 black? How did they evolve into all 10,000-year ones? This can't be, right? When Bai Chenqiang heard this, she was even more shocked and surprised. What? Spirit rings can evolve? Is this something a normal person can do? Good heavens, I don't think we even need to compete anymore. What is there to compete with? Bai Chenqiang was truly so frightened that she had no desire to compete anymore. If she continued to compete, wouldn't she just be completely crushed by him? But she didn't expect Song Yi to chuckle and say, hey, let's just try it simply. In the next second, Song Yi had already activated his left leg spirit bone skill. He also wanted to test the new spirit bone skill. This speed skill could directly increase his speed to a terrifying level, almost like teleportation. Chapter 133, Needle-tailed Phoenix Evolution. 1 year of accumulation and breakthrough. Bai Chenqiang had no choice but to sigh and cooperate with the test. Fine, I have no choice. Afterwards, the two launched a battle of speed simultaneously. Song Yi asked Bai Chenqiang to see if she could catch up to him. After a simple test, even with all her might, Bai Chenqiang could not catch up to Song Yi's terrifying speed. It was exactly like teleportation. But this wasn't pure teleportation, it was just high-speed movement, so fast that it couldn't be seen clearly. In less than 2 minutes, Bai Chenqiang had been completely left in the dust by Song Yi. Finally, Bai Chenqiang surrendered and begged for mercy. I can't do it, no more tilde. I don't want to anymore tilde stop tilde. Ah tilde you're too fast, how can I handle this tilde? Too fast, stop tilde. At this point, Song Yi smiled and retracted his aura. He looked at the exhausted Bai Chenqiang and sighed with emotion. This is a special spirit bone skill, it's normal that you can't catch up. Rest assured, I think your speed is decent. If you are willing to join me, you will be my person in the future. Following me in the future, there will be no shortage of benefits, and if you want revenge, you can also get my help. But my only requirement for my subordinates is loyalty. Bai Chenqiang looked at Song Yi, still panting heavily. After thinking for a moment, Bai Chenqiang gritted her teeth and said, I, Bai Chenqiang, swear by my spirit, since I have followed you, I will not think of betrayal. Once I betray you, may I, Bai Chenqiang, be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. In that case, that's fine. Song Yi had a decent understanding of the Duluo continent. Generally, few people would go back on an oath sworn by their spirit, as the spirit is the foundation of a person. Now that he had taken in Bai Chenqiang, the girl had decent talent, but her spirit wasn't that outstanding. Since she was his person now, he couldn't let it go to waste. Thinking of this, Song Yi took the initiative to find the phoenix coxcomb sunflower in the ice and fire yin-yang well. This immortal herb originally belonged to Ma Hongjun, allowing his spirit to completely evolve into a fire phoenix. The needle-tailed swift is also a bird, so the effect of consuming the phoenix coxcomb sunflower would be equally significant. After Song Yi picked the immortal herb, he said, since you've decided to follow me, there naturally must be benefits. This immortal herb is called the phoenix coxcomb sunflower, which possesses natural phoenix power, and your spirit, the needle-tailed swift, is also a bird. Birds are led by the phoenix. If you consume this immortal herb and combine it with some spiritual plants I provide, it will be enough to cause your spirit to evolve. Of course, it cannot directly evolve into a true top-tier phoenix, but it won't be bad. What, evolve my spirit? Bai Chenqiang was immediately surprised upon hearing this. She stared blankly at the immortal herb in Song Yi's hand, still finding it hard to believe. She had just joined the camp, and could she immediately obtain such a great benefit? Could her needle-tailed swift really evolve? She was inexperienced and still felt a bit nervous. However, Du Guyan, who was on the side, also persuaded her, consume it. What Brother Yi says must be true. Besides, have you forgotten about that? Hearing Du Guyan's reminder, Bai Chenqiang finally remembered that the light screen commentary had also mentioned the power of these immortal herbs. Only then did she feel at ease, took the phoenix coxcomb sunflower, and consumed it with slight trepidation. Song Yi and Du Guyan waited on the side. About an hour later, Bai Chenqiang opened her eyes, and she was already extremely excited. After consuming the immortal herb, she indeed sensed a terrifying change in her spirit. Oh my god! My spirit has actually evolved. My spirit has really... Without a word, Bai Chenqiang looked at Song Yi and hurriedly summoned her spirit. Come out, needle-tailed phoenix. As the words fell, a phoenix with a rather special tail, existing like a sharp sword, appeared on the spot. The entire phoenix had green wings, as well as some of the purple and blue feathers from the original needle-tailed swift, which was very magnificent. Du Guyan looked at it with slight joy. Song Yi also smiled. It really worked. The needle-tailed phoenix, although it hasn't become a true top-tier phoenix, is still much better than before. If there is an opportunity to obtain other treasures of heaven and earth in the future, I believe it can reach an even higher level. Yes, I never thought my spirit would have the chance to evolve. Bai Chenqiang herself was also extremely excited. All of this is thanks to you, Brother Yi. Brother Yi, from now on, Bai Chenqiang will follow by your side and will never disobey. No matter what, Bai Chenqiang is your person. Good. Song Yi didn't take this sentence too seriously, just patted Bai Chenqiang on the shoulder. He didn't expect that Bai Chenqiang was too excited at this moment and actually took the initiative to step forward and kiss Song Yi on the cheek. Because of this, Song Yi was a bit stunned, savoring the warmth on his face. He was stunned unconsciously. Bai Chenqiang murmured, thank you, Brother Yi tilde. In fact, Bai Chenqiang was also someone who cared about looks. In the original work, Ma Hongjun wasn't handsome, and she only disliked him for being ugly and fat. The point wasn't even Ma Hongjun's playboy lifestyle. Later, when Ma Hongjun became handsome, Bai Chenqiang began to slowly like him. Song Yi didn't look bad either, and combined with such great grace, as well as his terrifying strength and potential, Bai Chenqiang had unconsciously fallen for him the moment she saw him. This kiss seemed to be out of excitement, but it was actually a declaration. Song Yi helplessly touched his face, looking at the blushing Bai Chenqiang opposite him, and he didn't know what to say. It was just that he might have another woman in the future. I don't have too many plans for this period. Your sudden addition was also unexpected for me. In the coming days, I will focus on cultivation, but I will also find ways to help you enhance your mental force and, by the way, strengthen your physiques. Striving to also let you obtain 10,000-year spirit rings for your 4th ring in advance. We listened to Brother Yi. The two women responded actively. Indeed, as Song Yi said, in the following time, the three people were immersed in focused cultivation. Afterwards, Song Yi went to find some whale glue for Bai Chenqiang and Du Guyan to consume. Even on N.A.N's side, the three women often took the initiative to come over to communicate. As time passed, the relationship between the three women and Song Yi grew deeper and deeper, and they got closer and closer. Bai Chenqiang was even more obvious. Sometimes she would unconsciously hint that she liked Song Yi, but Song Yi did not respond directly, focusing on cultivation instead. In the blink of an eye, nearly a year had passed. Relying on hard cultivation, Song Yi successfully reached the level 40 tier. He didn't say a word and completed the absorption of the spirit ring bestowed by the system. The fourth spirit ring absorption started at the 50,000 year level. Coupled with the further enhancement of his physique after absorbing the spirit ring, his fourth and third rings further evolved to the 60,000 year limit. Afterwards, perhaps his fifth ring could even absorb 100,000 year one. And his plan for hard cultivation was complete. It was almost time for the next commentary on Duluo Dalui and Duluo Dalui characters. Chapter 134, Ayin defects to Song Yi. 100,000 year blue silver king sacrifices. Time passed quietly in a year. In this short year, many things happened across the entire Duluo continent. First was the accumulation on Song Yi's side. Song Yi himself reached level 40 and successfully absorbed his fourth 10,000 year spirit ring. The ages of his four spirit rings were over 10,000 years, over 10,000 years, 60,000 years, and 60,000 years. Such a spirit ring configuration was impossible for anyone to believe just by hearing it. Meanwhile, Bai Chenqiang and Du Guyan also reached the 30s, though they were still a bit off from level 40. Song Yi told them not to rush, waiting until he found a way to improve their mental force. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zuqing, and Xiao Wu reached the 20s. Following Song Yi's reminder, they also consumed whale glue. Their second spirit rings were naturally all over 1,000 years old. Perhaps they would have a chance to obtain a 10,000 year spirit ring for their fourth ring in the future, depending on when their mental force met the standard. Over the past year, relying on the spirit tool theory and spirit theory bestowed by the system, Song Yi created a special spirit tool used to stimulate a spirit master's brain. This was used for mental force training. It was just that these women were still a bit short of reaching the mental force of a spirit king, so they still needed to accumulate more before they could absorb a 10,000 year spirit ring. According to Song Yi's calculations, it was already quite good that these girls could absorb a 10,000 year spirit ring ahead of time for their fourth ring. Du Gubo continued to consolidate his spirit core during this year and had completely mastered the method of using it. His own spirit power successfully reached level 95. Nowadays, Du Gubo's strength was significantly stronger than the likes of Yu Guan and Gui Mei. He was no longer the weakest titled Duluo. With Du Gubo as his protector, Song Yi could walk sideways across the Duluo continent. Besides Song Yi's faction, other forces also had their own progress. Regarding the Speed Clan, Bai He had discovered the letter Bai Chenqiang left behind before running away a year ago. Upon seeing the content, Bai He was initially angry at his granddaughter for running away from home, even viewing it as a betrayal. Furthermore, his crystal blood dragon ginseng had also been stolen, leading him to personally go to the Breaking Clan to demand the immortal herb. Young Wudi refused to accept it, arguing that since his granddaughter had delivered it, how could it be taken back? Both sides were people who cared about face, so they parted on bad terms. The Breaking Clan even stopped providing aid to the Speed Clan. Finally, as time passed, Bai He realized that the sect could no longer sustain itself, and having no other choice, he could only try to earn money. After earning money, Bai He finally understood the hardships of the world and realized that his granddaughter, Bai Chenqiang, was probably doing quite well. After recognizing reality, Bai He retracted his judgment of Bai Chenqiang's betrayal and turned to leading the sect to earn money while searching for her. It was also around the middle to late period that Bai Chenqiang, worried about her clan, sent some gold coins to the Speed Clan in her own name. Only then did Bai He truly realize his mistake and feel deep regret. Seeing this, Bai Chenqiang had even started thinking about turning the Speed Clan to submit to Song Yi. On Spirit Hall's side, Qian Runshui had officially stepped onto the path of the God Trial and had already agreed with her grandfather, Qian Dalyu. If the final God Trial required judging Qian Dalyu, then Qian Runshui would exploit a bug, stalling the progress until Qian Dalyu atoned and gained the Angel God's recognition. Perhaps after Qian Dalyu's lifespan was mostly exhausted, she would judge him then. Qian Dalyu immediately thought it made sense upon hearing it and agreed. Moreover, as long as Bibi Dong and Tang San were killed before Qian Runshui inherited the Angel God's legacy, there would be no need to worry about future dangers. Bibi Dong and Juliana issued arrest warrants across the continent, but unfortunately, they had not found Tang San in a year. In order to obtain power early, Juliana had long entered Slaughter City and was currently undergoing training there. However, the current Juliana already knew the future and even had some understanding of the Hell Road, which was equivalent to having the answers in advance. Presumably, without Tang San's help, she would still be able to successfully pass through the Hell Road, and it was only a matter of time before she obtained the Slaughter God domain and left. Bibi Dong was still attempting her own time-wasting Rakshasa God trial, competing for time with Qian Runshui. However, both she and Qian Runshui knew that they were mother and daughter after all, and neither would truly kill the other, they were just competing. At Landa Academy, to commemorate Flender, Luerlong ultimately chose to rename Landa Academy to Shrek Academy. However, because the philandering nature of Dai Mubai, Oscar, and Ma Hongjun did not subside even after arriving at Heaven Do City. Lu Oolong had seen the sharp commentary and gradually stopped caring about the three of them. Dai Mubai continued to drift along, waiting for death, without much change. As for Ma Hongjun, with the increase in his strength, there were signs that he could no longer suppress his evil fire, sometimes causing trouble because of it. There were also students with decent strength in Land Academy, and since the three were outsiders, they were somewhat isolated. Ma Hongjun caused trouble again and again due to evil fire outbreaks, and Tai Long of the Strength Clan, along with many original students, had fought the three of them more than once. Without Ning Rongrong, Oscar became degenerate again, often going out with Dai Mubai to find women, and his cultivation progress was slow. Without immortal herbs, the three actually felt like they were regressing. Lu Oolong observed them and cared even less about them, often being secretly insulted by Dai Mubai's people, saying that Lu Oolong was irresponsible and didn't care about them. In the Blue-Silver Forest, N.A.N. had been mobilizing the energy of the Blue-Silver clan for a year, striving to make the Blue-Silver King evolve rapidly. Spending nearly a year, not knowing how many Blue-Silver grass were sacrificed, that Blue-Silver King was finally forced to grow and reach the 100,000-year level. However, limited by its bloodline, the Blue-Silver King could never become a Blue-Silver Emperor. In the Blue-Silver Forest, N.A.N. looked at the taller, sturdier 100,000-year Blue-Silver King, which could even control its roots to move freely. She was very gratified, sighing. Blue-Silver King, today, you have finally reached 100,000 years. Although your foundation is not as strong as those true 100,000-year spirit beasts, your grade has still been raised. Now, follow me to find that human boy. I remembered his aura back then, and I can sense the direction of that human boy. Furthermore, as Blue-Silver Grass, our clan's concealment ability is equally powerful, so we don't have to fear being discovered by humans, as long as we don't encounter a titled Duluo. The Blue-Silver King obeyed N.A.N.'s command, retracted its form, and turned into a plant that looked like an ordinary Blue-Silver grass. N.A.N. then took this Blue-Silver King and began to follow the faint sensation to find Song Yi. They didn't know if this choice was right. But N.A.N. was someone who had seen the light screen's sharp commentary. For N.A.N., the Tang San she knew was an existence chosen and even favored by the gods. An existence like Tang San had a god as a backer, if she couldn't find a more exaggerated monster to fight against him. Relying on her own and the Blue-Silver clan's power, she would never be able to take back the Blue-Silver Emperor bloodline. She absolutely could not accept the Blue-Silver Emperor bloodline remaining on another worlder. So even if it was a gamble, she had to take it, to find a reliable person to deal with that terrifyingly potential-filled Tang San. Chapter 135, The Blue-Silver King is gone. The spirit ring of life force is gone. Tang San and Tang Hao are devastated. At a certain large waterfall. Tang San had been here cultivate the Clear Sky Sex Hammer technique for a full year. Originally, in the original story, Tang San was taken away by Tang Hao to cultivate the hammer technique only after the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Elite tournament ended. But now that Shrek was gone, what else could Tang San do besides follow Tang Hao to cultivate? And besides the hammer technique, what else could Tang Hao teach Tang San? In the original story, Tang San cultivated under the waterfall for a full 2 years. Now, having cultivated for 1 year, he had probably only reached the halfway point. However, due to the stimulation of the waterfall and the fact that Tang San's own strength was not bad, he had now successfully reached level 40. Tang Hao had no choice but to have Tang San obtain a spirit ring first. During this past year, Tang Hao had not gone to see his wife, N.A.N., and he didn't even know that N.A.N's spirit bone had been taken by someone, and that N.A.N. herself was no longer in the cave. On this day, Tang San successfully promoted to level 40, and Tang Hao could only sigh with emotion. Little San, plans cannot keep up with changes now. Originally, I intended to wait until you reached level 50 before having you undergo the awakening of your Blue-Silver Emperor spirit, and incidentally, obtain a life spirit ring condensed by your Blue-Silver Emperor. However, because Xiaogang complained back then, I had no choice but to take you to undergo the awakening of the Blue-Silver Emperor spirit early. At that time, because it was not yet time for you to obtain a spirit ring, you did not absorb that spirit ring condensed from life force. Now, it is time to take you to absorb that life spirit ring. The Blue-Silver King is still waiting for you. Hearing this, Tang San naturally had no objections or resistance. He nodded proactively and followed Tang Hao to head to the Blue-Silver Forest again. However, when they arrived at the Blue-Silver Forest, they discovered that the Blue-Silver King was gone, and the life force of the entire Blue-Silver Forest had weakened, as if someone had drained the life force of a large number of Blue-Silver grass in the Blue-Silver Forest. Upon arriving here, both father and son were completely dumbfounded. Tang Hao's expression was grave, and he was the first to curse. Damn it, has something happened to this Blue-Silver Forest? Why is the Blue-Silver King gone, and why has the life force of so many Blue-Silver grass decreased? Who drained the life force of these Blue-Silver grass? And who came to the Blue-Silver Forest? Could it be that they hunted the Blue-Silver King and left with it as a spirit ring? Hearing this, Tang San's expression was equally grave. The Blue-Silver King had a cultivation age of 85,000 years. Back then, it helped me with the awakening, and it also benefited, even reaching the level of a full 90,000 years. Could it be that a titled Duluo came here and hunted the Blue Silver King? Tang Hao nodded. He thought carefully. Apart from a titled Duluo, he feared no one else could deal with a 90,000-year-old Blue Silver King. Tang Hao sighed with emotion. Although blue silver grass is inherently weak, it is still a 90,000-year-old spirit beast. And in the entire Duluo continent, the place with the most titled Duluo is none other than Spirit Hall. Among the scattered titled Duluo of other forces, not one is a plant-type titled Duluo. And a spirit Duluo cannot deal with a 90,000-year-old spirit beast. Damn Spirit Hall, I didn't expect them to have found even this place. Without the Blue Silver King, who in the entire Blue Silver Forest will provide you, Little San, with that life spirit ring. Damn Spirit Hall, I really want to smash that damn Spirit Hall to pieces. Listening to his father's rage, Tang San also clenched his fists, gritting his teeth. After all, with the Blue Silver King gone, his most suitable spirit ring was also gone. Tang San gritted his teeth and said, "There is no other way, father. I fear I cannot absorb this spirit ring for the time being. I can only go find other spirit beasts to fill my spirit ring slot first. Perhaps after my Blue Silver Emperor grows, I will still have the opportunity to condense a spirit ring for myself. As for the Blue Silver King, it is already dead. We will settle the score with Spirit Hall in the future." Sigh. Listening to this, Tang Hao understood that this was the only solution. In the end, he followed Tang San to the Stardew Great Forest to obtain a spirit ring first. However, without so many coincidental opportunities in immortal herbs, Tang San would likely be unable to obtain a 10,000-year spirit ring for his fourth spirit ring as in the original story. Ice and Fire Yin Yang Well. Song Yi finished another day of cultivate. Now, his spirit power had reached level 42, and there was still a long way to go before level 50. However, Song Yi was no longer in a hurry. Now all the rewards had been absorbed. There were only a few days left until the one-year waiting period he had previously said ended. Once the last few days of the waiting period passed, he would officially start the sharp commentary, providing sharp commentary on the characters of Duluo Dalui in the third installment. Song Yi even had a premonition that when he opened the sharp commentary for the characters of Duluo Dalui in the third installment for the first time, the system would match him with a character who had a very important role. At the very least, it would be at the level of a heroine, and it might even be a direct sharp commentary on the protagonist. If he were to provide sharp commentary directly on Huo Yuhao or Tang Wulin, Song Yi would still need to prepare for a while. After all, he had forgotten many of the plots of Duluo Dalui in the third installment and needed to recall them. In the following few days, Song Yi indeed cultivate normally, and incidentally recorded all the points he could provide sharp commentary on when the time came. In the blink of an eye, it was the day before the sharp commentary was set to begin. But he didn't expect that just as he was about to start the sharp commentary, an outsider would suddenly arrive. As Song Yi was preparing, Bai Chenqiang suddenly rushed in from outside, reporting the situation. "Brother Yi, there is a woman outside looking for you." Song Yi was even more surprised when he heard this. "Why are women coming to look for me again?" "No, why is it that every time someone comes to look for me, it's a woman?" But fearing that something might be delayed, he left the room immediately. Later on, Song Yi no longer lived in the Ice and Fire Yin Yang Well every day, but had built a house and lived with Du Guyan and the others. With the poison Duluo setting up a poisonous array for protection, even spirit beasts could not get near, making it very comfortable. After coming out of the house and passing through the poisonous array, he was shocked to see Yin holding a blue silver grass, waiting obediently outside. Song Yi looked at the blue-haired woman opposite him and asked doubtfully, "Hello, may I ask who you are?" Yin looked at Song Yi, and the more she looked, the more she could feel in her heart that this person, Song Yi, did not seem like some evil spirit. She felt slightly relieved and took the initiative to explain. "Sir, I am that blue silver grass from whom you took the spirit bone back then. To be precise, I am a former 100,000-year spirit beast that has transformed into a human. Because of some special reasons, and because I could sense that you did not have any evil intentions, I came to find you on my own initiative." Blue silver grass. What the hell? Song Yi was scared out of his wits on the spot upon hearing this. This meant that this was Tang San's mother, Yin. Hadn't Yin not recovered her cultivation? Wasn't she still a blue silver grass? How did she suddenly turn into a human again? In the original story, Yin's resurrection relied on Tang San mobilizing the life force of the blue silver grass and gathering it for Yin. Could it be that the current Yin had also used some means to draw a large amount of blue silver grass life force and resurrected early? But even if she resurrected, why did she come to find him on her own initiative? Chapter 136, Kill Tang San. Farm Spirit Rings, Playing with the Blue Silver Clan. Song Yi lowered his eyes, looking at the woman standing before him. His brows knit together involuntarily, and his fingertips rubbed slightly against his cuffs. His tone carried a hint of imperceptible hesitation. "Then, why did you come here to find me?" He paused, as if suddenly remembering something, his tone relaxing slightly as he added, almost jokingly. "It wouldn't be to ask for a spirit bone, would it? I already gave." "That is not the case." Yin's voice rang out abruptly, cutting off Song Yi. Her tone carried a touch of urgency, yet hid a trace of imperceptible panic. She had come to ask for a favor, and she could not afford any mistakes. She leaned forward slightly, looking at Song Yi with earnest eyes, and hurriedly explained in detail. Sir, I have come with a subordinate. We are not here to demand anything, but to seek your help. She took a deep breath to suppress the turmoil in her heart. Her tone gradually steadied, yet it remained unmistakably solemn. To be precise, it could also be called a transaction. As her words fell, Ayan's gaze suddenly became firm. She said clearly, word by word. We want to use a 100,000-year spirit ring, plus a 100,000-year spirit bone, in exchange for you killing someone for us. Kill someone. The ease on Song Yi's face vanished instantly. His brows knit even tighter, filled with gravity, and his tone deepened. I am just a small spirit ancestor whose spirit power has only just passed level 40. Since you can take human form, your spirit power must be at least that of a spirit saint. With such strength, who could you possibly want me to kill for you? Not now, but in the future. Ayan shook her head hurriedly, her tone laced with anxiety, and her speaking pace quickened. That person is protected by powerful individuals, and his own talent is terrifying. His growth speed is shockingly fast. Given time, he will grow to a point where the entire continent will be unable to resist him. She looked up at Song Yi, her eyes swirling with complex and indiscernible emotions, pain, resolve, before she finally spat out the name, word by word. That person is my son, N.A.N. What the hell, you want me to kill N.A.N? Hearing this, Song Yi felt as if he had been struck by a thunderbolt. He froze in place, his eyes wide, his mouth slightly agape. His face was full of dullness and stupidity, he even held his breath for a beat. N.A.N. That was the son Ayan had carried for 10 months and given birth to, the existence she would risk her life to protect. How could she actively beg someone else to kill him? His heart was churning, tangled into a mess. He felt he had interfered with some original events of the Duluo continent and knew the plot had changed quite a bit because of it, but no matter what, it shouldn't be this exaggerated, right? Ayan wanted to kill her own son. This was simply absurd beyond belief. Before Song Yi's dazed expression faded, Ayan continued, her voice filled with undisguisable choked sobs and pain, every word seeming to be squeezed out from the bottom of her heart. Because, through a special secret technique of the Blue-Silver clan, I realized that my real child died long ago. The one occupying my child's body now is an unknown foreign soul. He is not my N.A.N, he never was. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to calm down. Her tone carried more gravity and wariness. Now, that soul occupying my child's body has already awakened the Blue-Silver Emperor spirit. Besides that, he also has another spirit, the Clear Sky Hammer, twin spirits, plus he has a titled Duluo protecting him by his side. His future achievements will be limitless. When that time comes, I fear no one on the entire continent will be able to contend with him. I am the former Blue-Silver Emperor of the Blue-Silver clan. I must protect the entire Blue-Silver clan, and more importantly, avenge my real child and take back everything that should have been his. Ayan's voice gradually lowered, but her eyes were filled with an almost humble plea. She stared fixedly at Song Yi. The pain and expectation in that gaze made Song Yi's heart soften inexplicably, and he was even moved. Song Yi was silent, his heart full of questions. He did not know what special secret technique Ayan used to realize her real child had passed away, nor did he know how she discovered that her son's body had been replaced by a foreign soul. Perhaps this was the wonder of the Blue-Silver Emperor bloodline, capable of sensing anomalies deep within the bloodline, capable of distinguishing one's own kin. He sighed softly, thinking to himself. It seems that ever since he accidentally appeared on this Duluo continent and interfered in things that did not originally belong to him, he had already caused irreparable and massive impacts on the original plot. This was, perhaps, the so-called butterfly effect. One move affects the whole situation, even a small action could trigger a series of huge changes, or even completely reverse the original trajectory. And N.A.N, the foreign soul who occupied Ayan's son's body, Song Yi knew in his heart. He would eventually meet him in the future, this seemed unavoidable. Song Yi was silent for a long time, his fingertips tapping lightly against his cuffs, his thoughts churning. Even without the 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone offered by Ayan, he and N.A.N would likely clash in the future for various reasons. Rather than responding passively, it was better to take the initiative and seize the opportunity. Thinking this, the hesitation in his heart gradually dissipated. His face returned to calmness, and he nodded slowly, saying in a solemn tone. Fine, I agree. Seeing him agree, Ayan's tense body instantly relaxed, as if she had unloaded a heavy burden, her shoulders slumped slightly. The anxiety and pain in her eyes gradually faded, replaced by the relief of surviving a disaster and a trace of imperceptible joy, even her breathing became much steadier. She carefully raised her palm. In the center of her palm, a seemingly weak blue-silver grass with leaves shimmering with a faint blue light stood quietly. The blue-silver grass appeared slender, yet its leaves flowed with deep and mellow spirit power fluctuations, hiding power that could not be underestimated. Sir, this is my subordinate, the Blue-Silver King. Ayan gently stroked the blue-silver grass in her palm, her tone softening as she slowly explained. I was originally the former Blue-Silver Emperor of the Blue-Silver clan, but now, the position of Blue-Silver Emperor has already been snatched away by that soul occupying my son's body. The Blue-Silver clan will sooner or later fall under his control. Both the Blue-Silver King and I are willing to dedicate everything to the Blue-Silver clan to help you accelerate your growth and increase your spirit power. I only ask that in the future, you can help us deal with that soul occupying my son's body, and help my real child take back his body and everything that belongs to him. She paused, her tone becoming solemn again. The Blue-Silver King has now reached the level of a 100,000-year spirit beast. As long as you are willing, it can sacrifice itself to you at any time to help you break through your bottleneck and reach a higher level. Chapter 137, Sharp Critique of Tang Wedong. Starting with the heroine of Duluo Dalui. Blue-Silver King. Song Yi's gaze fell upon that seemingly delicate yet deeply rooted blue-silver grass. A hint of admiration flashed in his eyes, and he couldn't help but sigh softly. Your Blue-Silver clan is truly loyal. To be willing to give everything for your emperor is truly rare. He shook his head gently, his tone tinged with helplessness, yet hidden with a trace of certainty. It is a pity that I have just broken through to level 40 and obtained my 4th spirit ring. My spirit power is not yet fully stabilized, so I cannot absorb a new spirit ring for the time being. Otherwise, it would be a waste of this gesture. Since that is the case, you should wait nearby for now. Song Yi looked up at N.A.N and said in a calm tone. Rest assured, since I have promised you, I will not go back on my word, nor will I waste the 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone you have offered. He paused and added, his tone softening with a bit of kindness. If you are willing, you and the Blue-Silver King can go to the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well to cultivate. The Heaven and Earth spiritual chi there is extremely rich, and it possesses the unique dual attributes of ice and fire, making it the most suitable place for plant-type spirit beasts like you to cultivate. It can both stabilize your spirit power and accelerate your growth. As for Tang San, Song Yi's eyes darkened slightly, his tone carried a touch of certainty. One day, I will eventually meet him, but it is certainly not now. I will improve myself well, and when I have sufficient strength, I will help you settle this matter. N.A.N nodded vigorously, her eyes slightly red. Her voice carried undisguised emotion, and tears swirled in her eyes, but she held them back from falling. Thank you, sir, thank you, sir. I only ask to reclaim my real child's body and to avenge him. Other than that, I have no other requests. No matter how long it takes, I can wait. Even if it is 10 years, 20 years, or even if it exhausts my entire life, I will wait. She bowed deeply, her voice choked with sobs. Thank you, sir. Song Yi waved his hand lightly, his face devoid of extra expression, and he said in a flat tone. No need for thanks. Between us, it is merely each taking what they need. You give me a 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone to help me grow, and I help you deal with Tang San and reclaim your child's body. We are even. Afterward, Song Yi brought them to the vicinity of the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well. With such a unique environment, it should be enough for them to cultivate properly. As for absorbing the Blue-Silver King's spirit ring later, he would have to wait until he slowly reached level 50, he couldn't wait right now. After settling N.A.N and the others, he also briefly explained the situation to Bai Chenqiang and Du Guyan to avoid any misunderstandings. Just as these things were finished, it was naturally nighttime. Song Yi checked the time, the 1-year period he had set had passed, and there was nothing to delay him at night. Coupled with the fact that his memories of Duluo Dalui and Duluo Dalui had reached a certain level, he could restart the Sharp Critique. He immediately returned to his room and began to activate the system for Sharp Critique. After a full year, with many things happening in between, the new Sharp Critique appeared smoothly. This time, as the light screen reappeared, all the female characters who had been waiting for a year were reconnected. In Spirit Hall, Bibi Dong, Qian Runshui, Huliana, and others had long since obediently reopened the light screen. Within the 7 treasure glazed tile school, Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, and Zhu Qing dared not miss anything and quickly opened the light screen completely. And there were others like Erlong, Shui Binger, Huo Wu, Aru, etc., all of whom did not pause and immediately reconnected to the light screen. Having had no Sharp Critique to watch for a full year, no one knew how they had survived. On the light screen. Du Guyan refreshing. Finally, the Sharp Critique has started again. And it's going to critique characters from at least 10,000 years later, can't miss this. Bing Bing is polite waited for a full year. This past year, I haven't been able to eat or sleep, and my weight has gone up by 10 pounds. It's been too hard. Hot girl, it's fortunate that nothing happened this past year. Ever since I watched the Sharp Critique, I've been terrified every day that Tang San would suddenly become a god, and then we would be finished. Most loyal believer of the Sea God, a year has passed, Tang San still hasn't found his way here, and Sea God Island has been safe for another year. Most loyal believer of the Sea God at Bibi Dong, in a year, have you found Tang San and his father? Bibi Dong found them my ass. Don't know where these two beasts are hiding. Bibi Dong, it doesn't matter. As long as they dare to show their heads, I will kill them instantly. Calm and composed, let's look at the new Sharp Critique first, that is the priority. The only princess, I wonder, for the Sharp Critique of characters from the future world, will the first character be male or female? Needle-tailed Swift, there should be newcomers, right? Has it connected to a new era? Just as Bai Chenqiang was speaking, several lines of text appeared on the light screen, and the new content followed. Goddess of Light has joined the Sharp Critique connection. Auspicious Snow in the Forest has joined the sharp critique connection. Only 2 people joined this time. Logically speaking, they should be girls, but they were both blurred ids, making it impossible to determine who was who. Duguyan, it's here, it's here. Could these be characters from the future world? Duguyan at Goddess of Light at Auspicious Snow in the Forest, welcome, welcome. Bing Bing is polite, welcome. If you don't understand anything, you can look at the previous sharp critique content, you'll probably understand what it means. Auspicious Snow in the Forest, what the hell? What is this thing? Who are you people? Auspicious Snow in the Forest, what is a sharp critique? Hey, I can actually talk to you people remotely. How magical. Goddess of Light, sharp critique light screen. I found the previous content. Is this, scolding the people on Duluo continent one by one? Goddess of Light, huh? Why is everyone being scolded from 10,000 years ago? I haven't heard of many of them. Bing Bing is polite, alright. At Goddess of Light sisters, it's confirmed, this is a character from 10,000 years later. Hot girl didn't expect there to be characters from 10,000 years later connecting. At Auspicious Snow in the Forest, are you a character from 10,000 years later? Auspicious Snow in the Forest, I don't know anything, and I haven't heard of those names either. BB Dong, then let's just watch and see. Perhaps it's only characters from 10,000 years later. Just in time, the new sharp critique topic has started. Everyone, stop messing around and look at the situation. Amidst the discussion, the new topic appeared smoothly, and everyone's attention was quickly drawn to it. On the light screen, a huge title was written. Please critique Tang Wedong. Chapter 138, Tang Wedong with multiple personality disorder. And her father is actually Tang San. Stardo Great Forest. Beneath the Lake of Life, a gathering place for vicious beasts. The three-eyed golden lion was still blankly staring at the light screen that had appeared before her. At this moment, she scratched her little golden head with her little feet, very confused, and said, what on earth does this mean? Critiquing characters, it seems like it's just scolding people one by one. I've already scolded a full 10 people before. These people speaking in the comment section are probably similar to me, but characters selected and connected previously. The auspicious beast narrowed her eyes, watching helplessly. The key is that they also asked me if I'm from 10,000 years later. How would I know if I'm from 10,000 years later? I don't even know the era they are living in right now. Also, who is this Tang Wedong that is to be critiqued today? Duluo 2 era. Shrek Academy. Wang Donger, or as she is called now, Wang Dong, looked at Huo Yuhao, who was already fast asleep on the bed. She tiptoed, still deciding to leave the dormitory first, and soon found a place with no one around to start examining the situation. She had the light screen appear for no reason just a moment ago, and had also seen the discussions of those people for no reason, roughly grasping the existence of this light screen. Looking at the characters appearing one by one on the light screen, Wang Donger thought to herself. Among these people, there is someone named BB Dong, and based on them asking me if I am from 10,000 years later. It seems that this light screen might really span time and space. This BB Dong is likely the Rakshasa god from the Spirit Hall faction of 10,000 years ago, who was killed by the legendary sea god. Fortunately, I happened to hear about this history, otherwise I really wouldn't know. Wang Donger rubbed her chin. She was still in the state of a woman disguised as a man, and her movements were quite bold. She continued to be puzzled. It's just that I don't know why, the topic of this critique says something about Tang Wedong. Who is Tang Wedong? Why does hearing this name seem to give me some special sensation? Wang Donger decided to take the initiative to ask. Goddess of Light, it seems this is going to critique some Tang Wedong. Does anyone here know this Tang Wedong? The ID, Goddess of Light, was also something Wang Donger thought of on a whim, for reasons she didn't know, and it also had a strange sense of familiarity. She had just arrived at Shrek 2 days ago, and hadn't yet managed to perform spirit fusion with Huo Yuhao. There were too many things she didn't know. As she asked this, the others responded as well. Du Guyan, who would know that? If we could know people from 10,000 years in the future, we would have become gods. Du Guyan, at Goddess of Light, you wouldn't be a character from 10,000 years later, would you? Otherwise, why would you ask such a question? Goddess of Light, I thought about it just now. It's possible that I am indeed a person from 10,000 years later compared to you. Goddess of Light, that BB Dong is the last supreme pontiff of the Spirit Hall faction from 10,000 years ago, right? I have studied this period of history a little. BB Dong, good grief, this feeling is quite strange. I am still alive, yet I've become history. Calm and composed, although it's not a good reputation, BB Dong, at least you were remembered, ha ha ha. Hot girl, I didn't expect there to actually be a character from 10,000 years later. Interesting, what is the Duluo world like 10,000 years from now? Goddess of Light, the world we are in now has one more 4x than you did at that time, XXXXX. Goddess of Light, why can't I say it? I wanted to talk about the situation of our era, this isn't allowed either. However, just at this moment, a notification appeared temporarily on the light screen. Warning, future information not revealed in the critique cannot be conveyed. Goddess of Light, damn, there's a rule like this. It's indeed a bit speechless. Du Guyan, boring. If you can't say it, then just treat it as a normal chat partner. Du Guyan, hey, are you really a person from 10,000 years later? At auspicious snow in the forest. Auspicious snow in the forest. Seeing this person say that Bibi Dong is the last supreme pontiff of Spirit Hall, I know the current Spirit Hall. I shouldn't be in existence from 10,000 years later. Hot girl not in existence from 10,000 years later, yet still invited in. Could it be a relatively important person? But why hasn't she appeared even after this era has been critiqued? Reminder, for existences spanning multiple time periods, the original version from the earliest era will be invited. Just as Uowu heard the news, there was a new reminder in the light screen's critique. Everyone looked at it and finally understood the meaning. Bing Bing is polite. Oh, looking at this meaning, if a character can span multiple eras, only the version from the earliest era will be invited. Bing Bing is polite. In that case, at auspicious snow in the forest you can live until 10,000 years later in the future. No way, are you a god too? Auspicious snow in the forest. Well, maybe, who knows. The auspicious beast still didn't dare to directly tell outsiders that she was an auspicious beast, a spirit beast, to avoid trouble. Since others had already misunderstood, she might as well go along with it. It was also suitable for hiding herself. Bibi Dong, it seems that perhaps after Tang San deals with me and ascends to the god realm, you still have a chance to become a god. Bibi Dong, otherwise, it wouldn't have gone unmentioned in the previous critiques. Good, another interesting old freak has appeared. Auspicious snow in the forest. I don't know either. I'm still quite young now. Anyway, since we all know about as much as we need to, shall we look at this critique first? Goddess of Light, right, this is my first time seeing it too. Let's see what points there are to critique about this so-called Tang Wedong. As these two women spoke, the others didn't pay much more attention and also watched the light screen one by one. Just as they were speaking, the critique of Tang Wedong officially began. Song Yi brewed for a while, but still officially started spraying. ... In the light screen. Critiquing Tang Wedong, I can only say that critiquing this one character is equivalent to critiquing a full 4 characters. This is not an exaggeration on my part. After all, this so-called Tang Wedong really does have 4 identities. Even in the history of the Duluo continent, this kind of multi-layered split existence is a freak. The topic is to critique Tang Wedong as a whole. Fine, let's break it down one by one. Tang Wedong's 4 identities. The main identity is naturally her identity as Tang Wedong, from which a love-hate entanglement is derived. As for Tang Wedong's specific background, one has to mention that high and mighty Tang San, who influenced the entire Duluo continent. As Tang San's daughter, Tang Wedong's ability to split into multiple identities and even souls is inseparable from her excellent father. Chapter 139, Wang Donger breaks down. Am I actually Tang Wedong? It is well known that Tang Wedong is the future daughter of Tang San and Xiao Wu, born in the God realm. Because it is extremely difficult to conceive in the God realm, it took so many years for Tang Wedong to be born as the 7th child. Plus, they wanted to commemorate the Shrek 7 devils. So, Tang Wedong's nickname is Little 7. Although it's a bit of a Shrek 7 devils thing, it always makes me think of the dog Little 7 from next door. Now that is a truly useful Little 7, alright. As a born deity, Tang Wedong naturally has the same thoughts as millions of young misses throughout history. Which is to say, having lived too good a life, she just has to court trouble, finding life in the God realm too boring and meaningless, so she secretly descends to the lower realm. Good. From this, we can see the disgusting nature of Tang San's family. They shout every day that gods cannot interfere with the lower realm. Yet you, Tang Wedong, descend whenever you want, without even needing to find an excuse or reason. You just go down because you're bored. Is the rule of the God realm actually that accommodating? If other gods were to arrive at the God realm, they would have to obediently follow the rules, unable to descend or interfere in lower realm affairs. But since you are Tang San's daughter, you just sneak down because you're bored, and you don't even face any punishment, just because your dad is the God King. So, this woman, almost from the very beginning, shows she is not a normal person. As for the matter of a deity descending to the human realm to fall in love, it is undoubtedly a direct copy of various folktales like the fairy match. The princess finds the palace boring and goes to the common world to fall in love, the young miss finds home boring and goes to the common world to fall in love. Whether it is a fairy, a goddess, or an ancient deity, as long as they feel bored, they don't care about responsibility or rules, they just head to the lower realm to find a sugar daddy. It is from this point on that Tang Wedong's various roles and identities come into being. Tang San, who knows what he was thinking, sealed Tang Wedong's memories and fabricated a new set for her. From then on, he specifically sent the Sky Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape to guard her and forge her new identity and memories. Thus, Tang Wedong's first identity, or rather her first and second identities, appeared. Tang Wedong took the incarnation of Wang Donger, carrying a completely independent consciousness and memory, and began entering Shrek Academy to study and fish for a sugar daddy. I don't know what happened there, and I dare not ask, but you tell me, how is it such a coincidence that Wang Donger just happened to meet Huo Yuhao, that son of luck? Once the two of them met, Huo Yuhao began his long developmental path of being a dog for the Tang clan. Finishing this sharp critique, Song Yi paused slightly. Although this was just the beginning and an introduction to Tang Wedong's background, the information revealed was already quite substantial. Even though it was only the start, no one expected the opening to be such heavy-hitting news. The others watching the light screen were also taken aback just by the background introduction. Who could have guessed that the first person to be sharply critiqued in this new era would be Tang San's future daughter? And a daughter so lawless that she could descend and interfere just because she was bored. Tang Wedong was indeed a combination of the names Tang San and Xiao Wu. Du Guyan, good heavens, I thought this would be a critique of some special character, but I didn't expect it to be a story about a second-generation god. Du Guyan, looking at it this way, Tang San really does become the god king in the future, and his status is so high. And he and Xiao Wu were actually able to successfully have a daughter, tisk tisk. BB dong, damn it. Just thinking about how I will die tragically in the future, while this beast Tang San can enjoy immortal power in the god realm, damn it. BB dong Tang San, you beast, just you wait for me. I will definitely find you and wipe you out alive. Most loyal believer of the sea god Sai, after becoming the sea god, he doesn't even care about his duties as the sea god, but instead indulges his daughter in descending to the lower realm privately. Most loyal believer of the sea god, no, it's not just his daughter, he even has the titan giant ape in the sky azure bull python descend with her. Most loyal believer of the sea god sending 3 at once, this. Is this the rule of the god king? Is this the fairness of the god realm? Bing Bing is polite senior, you are trying to talk about fairness with Tang San. You might as well try to reason with an evil soul master. Is there any part of Tang San that has anything to do with the word fairness? Hot girl, that's right, this kind of thing Tang San did, you know, I really feel like it's something he would do. The only princess, I didn't expect Tang San to actually become the god king in the future and really get married and have children with Xiao Wu. The only princess, why does it feel a bit disgusting just looking at it? Tang San and Xiao Wu, sigh. Soft bone body at love eating carrots, Xiao Wu, you must never go near Tang San again. Needle-tailed Swift and this one called Tang Wedong, is that Xiao Wu still around? Is this the daughter you raised in the future? So disregardful of the rules. Calm and composed, she likes Tang San, so you expect her to teach people. Auspicious snow in the forest, oh, this Xiao Wu you are all talking about, she is actually here too. Then isn't she the mother of this Tang Wedong? BB dong HMPH. The offspring raised by a little beast are indeed beasts. Although I don't like little Shui, objectively speaking, this Tang Wedong is inferior to little Shui. Goddess of light, the point is, Wang Doner, how could Tang Wedong be Wang Doner? I didn't know this. Du Guyan, do you even know this Wang Doner? Didn't the light screen say that Wang Doner's memories regarding Tang Wedong were sealed by Tang San? Goddess of light sealed, they were sealed. Then, who is Wang Doner? Is she Wang Doner herself, or is she Tang Wedong? Du Guyan, who knows? We aren't Wang Doner or Tang Wedong. Duluo Tuera. Shrek Academy. Watching this statement posted by Du Guyan, Wang Doner herself was completely terrified. She never expected that when critiquing this person named Tang Wedong, it would somehow involve her. The light screen even said that she was Tang Wedong, that she was an existence whose memories were sealed and forged by Tang San. Then, who is she? Wang Doner hadn't even looked at it carefully, just seeing the beginning was enough to make her unable to bear it. How could I possibly be someone else? I have a soul, I have memories, I have experiences too. I don't know this Tang Wedong at all. Who on earth am I? Chapter 140, Dressing as a Man to Sleep with Men. Does Wang Doner have a normal brain? Wang Doner was now completely bewildered, even in a state of doubting her own life. The main thing was that for her, she truly had complete memories, memories from childhood to adulthood were all present. As for that lousy name, Tang Wedong, who had ever heard of it? Wang Doner looked at the light screen, frowning deeply as she said. The content mentioned by this light screen seems to be widely accepted by these people. Does that mean the light screen is correct? If so, doesn't that mean my father is actually that so-called Tang San? He is my father, yet he actually split my memories. Is this, for heaven's sake, a normal father? Wang Doner muttered Tang San's name, preparing to look for past sharp reviews of Tang San to see what kind of person her mysterious father really was. She continued, unconvinced. And for me, the father in my memories is just a vague presence who was never home for years. The father in my memories is definitely not some Tang San. I've only ever heard this guy's name in legends. I must see if this Tang San is really my father, and whether he is even qualified to be my father. Wang Doner's personality was still relatively pragmatic, and she did not have the complete submission to Tang San that Tang Wedong later possessed. As for Tang San, Wang Doner's current feeling was just that of a nominal father who gave birth to her but didn't raise her. Thinking of this, Wang Doner's expression became increasingly gloomy, and she began to watch the current sharp reviews and the past sharp reviews of Tang San simultaneously. Beneath the Lake of Life. The auspicious beast looked at the sharp review content on the light screen. For some reason, when she saw the light screen mention that Tang Wedong had split into multiple identities, she felt a sense of connection. I don't know why, but whenever this Tang Wedong is mentioned, I have some strange feelings. Especially when it talks about this Tang Wedong's different identities, it seems to have something to do with me. But that shouldn't be right, I don't even know this Tang Wedong at all. Where would I get this feeling from? The auspicious beast scratched her little head with her small paws and said. The only thing I can be sure of is that this Tang San doesn't look like a good person. Indulging his daughter to ignore the rules of the God realm and even sealing her identity, isn't this just giving his daughter schizophrenia? What happens to the two souls then? Thinking of this person named N.A.N, the auspicious beast naturally felt a special sense of disgust mixed with affection. It was as if there were two consciousnesses within her. On one hand, she naturally hated irresponsible people like N.A.N, and on the other, another consciousness seemed to have a connection to N.A.N. The more the auspicious beast watched, the more confused she became, so she could only continue to stare at the light screen. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Xiao Wu, N.A.N, and Zhu Zuqing watched the light screen. Xiao Wu also placed her hands on her chest, feeling truly nervous. She said helplessly, "I didn't expect that my daughter would be named N.A.N in the future. Her nickname is Xiao-Qi. This must be the future of the original timeline, right? Now that N.A.N and I are no longer together, will Xiao-Qi still be born? By doing this, have I killed Xiao-Qi?" As soon as these words were spoken, N.A.N and Zhu Zuqing beside her were also at a loss. That's right, in that case, could it be considered that Xiao Wu had killed her own daughter? Xiao Wu sighed again and said helplessly, "Perhaps this is fate. And even if I return to N.A.N's side now, many things have changed, and perhaps I wouldn't be able to give birth to Xiao-Qi again. Or perhaps, given that Xiao-Qi was raised like this, I was never suited to be a mother to teach others from the very beginning." After Xiao Wu finished speaking, the dimness in her eyes became even more apparent, and she could only watch the light screen in distress. Watching the story of a daughter from another timeline, someone so distant yet so close to her. She only hoped that the future N.A.N would act a little more like a human, and that the future daughter would be a little more decent. Although, looking at the sharp reviews on the light screen now, the father and daughter had already ignored the rules of the God realm, which was already somewhat disappointing. On the light screen. N.A.N's first identity is Wang Donger. According to the said memories, Wang Donger is a child born in the Clear Sky sect. Closing square bracket. In her memories, Wang Donger has no impression of her parents, only vague memories exist. Closing square bracket. Wang Donger believes that her parents were away from home all year round, so her personality is also a bit mischievous, yet still considered normal, at least better than N.A.N coming to the lower realm without permission. Closing square bracket. But Wang Donger still retains her restless nature, so she takes the initiative to leave the Clear Sky sect and prepares to go to Shrek Academy to study. Closing square bracket. 10,000 years later, Shrek Academy has become the highest institution of learning on the entire continent. Closing square bracket. Roughly midway through these 10,000 years, another continent, the Sun-Moon continent, collided with them, and the Sun-Moon continent and the Duluo continent began to fight each other. Closing square bracket. Because the Sun-Moon continent possesses a type of technological weapon called a spirit tool, it is able to suppress the Duluo continent in battle. Closing square bracket. If the Duluo continent hadn't relied on Shrek Academy as a cheat code, it would likely have been invaded and controlled by the Sun-Moon Empire on the Sun-Moon continent long ago. Closing square bracket. When the Sun-Moon Empire invaded, the empires on the Duluo continent were divided and fought separately, which is why they were suppressed for so long. Closing square bracket. After all, Shrek is an academy, and with a large number of students in various fields, it was able to unite the Duluo continent to resist the crisis. Closing square bracket. Therefore, Shrek Academy became the top force on the entire continent, so Wang Donger going to Shrek can be considered normal. Closing square bracket. However, what leaves people speechless is that it's one thing for Wang Donger to go to Shrek, but logically speaking, if she entered normally and registered normally, joining Shrek would have been effortless given her own strength and background. Closing square bracket. And as the daughter of N.A.N and Xiao Wu, even if Wang Donger lost her memories, her thought process is not something a normal person can guess. Closing square bracket. Wang Donger possesses twin spirits. One is the radiant goddess butterfly customized by N.A.N, and the other is the clear sky hammer inherited from N.A.N. Closing square bracket. But Wang Donger just refuses to use her twin spirits to impress the other party. She insists on disguising herself as a nobody to enter Shrek Academy. Closing square bracket. When she went in, this moronic thing even chose to dress as a man, running over to the boys' side to live and study. Closing square bracket. At first, when I saw the setting, my whole brain felt inexplicably insulted. Closing square bracket. No, what normal person goes to school to study and has to specifically dress as a man to live with men? Closing square bracket. It's one thing to live in the boys' dormitory, but later she even slept with a boy every single day. Closing square bracket. Even Mulan from next door likely didn't sleep in a communal bunk with ordinary male soldiers. Closing square bracket. What, do you feel that your radiant goddess butterfly, a spirit that clearly only manifests in girls, wouldn't expose you as a woman? Closing square bracket. Or are you saying that even though you are so beautiful, you just think you look like Northeast Sister you, and, how can one tell if you are male or female? Closing square bracket. These are the two things that are most confusing. Closing square bracket. First, despite having so many obvious female characteristics, she still insists on disguising herself as a man, treating everyone else like fools. Closing square bracket. The other point is that, as a woman, she doesn't care about self-respect at all, just insisting on sleeping with men and mingling with men. Closing square bracket. Chapter 141, A man in a women's dorm is harassment. A woman in a men's dorm is no problem. Well, some people might say, what is wrong with a girl cross-dressing as a man and sleeping with men? Is this considered lacking self-respect? Is this really self-respect? Is this the brain of a normal person? You, a woman, are in a pile of men every day. It is fine if nothing happens, but what if your female identity is really discovered? With so many people in the men's dorm, even if there's a 1 in 8,000 chance of a pervert, wouldn't you suffer? Even if it is just having your underwear stolen, that is still mental trauma, right? It is just that you were lucky enough that Wang Donger, under the alias Wang Dong, came to the men's dorm and met the protagonist Huo Yuhao, not some other pervert. Of course, Huo Yuhao is quite a pervert himself. Regarding Huo Yuhao, we will do a sharp review later. In short, with this kind of progression, one can already see what kind of brain the daughter of N.A.N and Xiao Wu has. A young lady, disguised as a man, specifically runs to a men's dorm to live, and not just for a day or two. Once this situation was stated, it really left every viewer unable to help but be stunned and speechless. The female characters who were connected to this, seeing such a thing, were also somewhat helpless. Du Guyan, do you know how I feel? I have a feeling that I am seeing the intelligence of Qian Runshui being inherited. Bing Bing is polite, hey, don't say that, you really shouldn't say that. Qian Runshui also cross-dressed as a man, and she was a similar idiot. I am an orphan, what are you saying? Qian Runshui cross-dressing as a man was to execute a mission. Can that be mentioned in the same breath as this Wang Donger? I am an orphan. Besides, Qian Runshui cross-dressed as a man to be the crown prince, she did not need to sleep with those men. There were also people protecting her closely. Can that be the same? I am an orphan. Even if Qian Runshui has issues, it is impossible for her to be this stupid, this crazy. Charming fox, let me say something objective. Although Qian Runshui does not have much political ability, it is true that she is not as stupid as this Wang Donger. Goddess of Light, no, what are you all saying? What do you mean, as stupid as Wang Donger? What is the problem with Wang Donger doing this? Goddess of Light, she did not use her position to do anything either. Is it not allowed to just disguise herself as a boy? Hot girl at Goddess of Light, are you a friend of this Wang Donger? She cross-dressed and entered the boys' dorm, and you think there's no problem with this? Calm and composed sigh, why are you talking to her? Who knows if morality has changed after 10,000 years? Maybe after 10,000 years, they think this is no problem. Hot girl, that is indeed true, who knows what it will be like after 10,000 years? After 10,000 years, who could have imagined that a sun-moon continent could pop up? It turns out there were other continents outside the Duluo continent. BB Donk Sun-Moon Continent Invasion. HMPH, and saying that only by relying on Shrek Academy can the Duluo continent be saved. BB Donk saying that Shrek can unite various forces, if the Spirit Hall were still here. If the Spirit Empire had unified the world, would it not have been able to concentrate its power to resist the Sun-Moon Empire just the same? BB Donk, the Sun-Moon continent only has one Sun-Moon Empire, which is why it is so formidable. Why could the Spirit Empire not do the same? Calm and composed, if there really is such a crisis in the future, perhaps it would indeed be better if the Duluo continent were unified. Needle-tailed Swift, but it cannot be your Spirit Hall. Your Spirit Hall is not a good thing either. Even if it were unified, at least it should be a normal force that unifies it. Goose Feather Snout, yes, even if it were to be unified, it cannot be the Spirit Hall. Our Heaven Do Empire seems to be alright. Zhu Zuyun, I think our Star Luo Empire is even better. Without the Spirit Hall, our Star Luo Empire's strength is even greater. BB Dong, a bunch of stupid things. Standing on the side of those useless nobles, what good are you? Most loyal believer of the Sea God, how did the conversation go off track again? You all, have you forgotten about this Wang Donger? Calm and composed, isn't this Wang Donger an idiot? What is there to discuss? Goddess of Light, bullshit. You are the idiots. You are all idiots. Duluo 2 era. Shrek Academy. Wang Donger clenched her fists tight. She really wanted to punch these people. Wasn't she just cross-dressing as a man? Wasn't it just entering the boys' dorm? What is the problem with this? She did not plunder others' benefits, nor did she harm anyone. She said coldly. Anyway, I have no problem, and I do not harm anyone. This light screen is clearly deliberately slandering me. I will see, besides cross-dressing as a man, what else can you use to slander me? Wang Donger gritted her teeth and continued to stare at the light screen. In the light screen. Some people might want to say, even if Wang Donger is cross-dressing as a man and living in the boys' dorm, is it okay? She did not damage others' benefits, nor did she harm anyone. Is this not allowed either? In reality, did she not damage others' benefits? Isn't this ridiculous? It is well known that when a man looks at a woman, it is sexual harassment, but when a woman looks at a man, it is true nature. But objectively speaking, if a man hid his identity in a girl's dorm, this could have long been accused of sexual harassment and could be charged with molestation. But you, Wang Donger, a woman, came to the boys' dorm, saying you would not look at Huo Yuhao and other men, how? Saying it is one thing, but in reality, it is another. You did not just stay in the boys' dorm for a year or two, it was at least 3 years or more. For such a long time, I do not believe you never once saw a boy changing clothes or pants, or never once accidentally saw a male student walking in the dormitory corridor wearing only underwear. I also do not believe that in these years, you never went to other boys' dorms. Or that no other classmates entered your dorm. If Wang Dong really never saw anything, the probability of that is harder than winning the lottery 10 times in a row. But if it were a man in a girl's dorm who saw girls changing clothes, just the fact that you entered the girl's dorm would be a clear problem. Wang Donger's behavior, regardless of gender, objectively speaking is clear harassment. It is just that no one caught her, and no one knew. For such a person, and such behavior, if one can still say there is no problem, I suggest going to middle school to learn some ideology and morality, or experiencing dormitory life in high school. Not to mention that this person Wang Donger did not just cross-dress as a man and enter the boys' dorm, causing harassment to the boys. She even acted like the boss and bullied people after entering the boys' dorm. So it is ultimately Xiao Wu's daughter. As soon as she enters the dorm, she replicates the fighting plot, and it was she who took the initiative to bully others that caused it. Chapter 142, Wang Donger bullies classmates. Even worse than Xiao Wu and N.A.N. Du Guyan, wait, she actually took the initiative to bully people. Du Guyan, this Wang Donger really doesn't look like a normal person. The light screen is right, boys shouldn't enter the girls' dormitory, so girls naturally shouldn't enter the boys either. Bing Bing is polite. I'll just say one thing, would a normal girl want to go into a boys' dormitory? Bing Bing is polite. Aside from those who are obsessed with men, how many normal girls would be willing to live in an environment full of males? Needle-tailed Swift, what about that one, isn't she N.A.N Shui willing? I am an orphan. Bullshit. That was for a mission, she was forced into it. Can you stop spouting nonsense? I am an orphan. Not everyone is like this Wang Donger, a brain-dead idiot. Goddess of light, who are you calling brain-dead? What does it have to do with you? What N.A.N Shui does, why are you speaking up for her? Calm and composed. Alright, this Wang Donger, or rather Tang Wedong, doesn't look like a normal person from the start, why bother with her? Calm and composed. The main thing is, we don't even know how this Tang Wedong bullied people. Needle-tailed Swift, let's watch and see, she doesn't seem like a well-behaved one. ... Shrek Academy. Wang Donger clenched her fists, looking at the comments on the light screen, her face growing increasingly gloomy. These damn things. What's wrong with me dressing as a man? What's wrong with me going to the boys' dormitory? It's fine for those men to like looking at pretty girls, but I go to the boys' dormitory and don't even do anything, and that's not allowed too. HMPH. Anyway, the school teachers can't discover me, what's the difference between me and a man? Wang Donger was still unconvinced, maintaining her original attitude. At the same time, regarding what was said on the light screen about her actively picking fights, Wang Donger recalled the first time she entered Shrek Academy. It didn't seem like that big of a deal, right? It was just making a few simple demands, and then Huo Yuhao dared not listen, so the two of them fought. Wang Donger frowned and muttered. This shouldn't be my problem, right? That's not what happened, right? She looked at the light screen with a hint of doubt. ... In the light screen, Wang Dong, the pseudonym for Wang Donger, was assigned to the room of the protagonist Huo Yuhao the first time she entered the boys' dormitory. Actually, even if you, Wang Donger, insist on disguising yourself as a man, others can't really say anything because they haven't discovered it, so what can they do? The key is, you, Wang Donger, didn't just act like a normal student. As soon as you walked in, you started setting rules for Huo Yuhao. And not just one. Demanding that he not be shirtless, not make noise, etc., these could be considered normal. After all, you are a girl, so it's hard to say anything about you caring about these things. Although preventing others from being shirtless is still problematic. Normally, in a boys' dormitory full of men, for example, just after taking a shower, or if it's too hot and one accidentally takes off their shirt before putting it back on. What can be done about that? The boys' dormitory is naturally like that. If you demand that others pay attention to this, it can only be said that people understand because you are a girl. But it is completely unreasonable, and you have no right to demand others in such matters. Does it have anything to do with you whether people wear clothes or not? They aren't affecting the city's appearance on the street. Occasionally being shirtless in the dormitory isn't for you to look at. Can such things be completely avoided? Fine, these things, I'll barely not argue with you. After all, Huo Yuhao respects people, so if you don't like it, he'll pay attention. But Wang Donger also directly set a rule that Huo Yuhao would have to do all the cleaning in the dormitory from now on. Is she really treating herself as a young miss? Once in the dormitory, you still need others to serve you. You don't do any work and make Huo Yuhao clean up after you every day. There's no questioning this point. Is this a requirement a normal person should make of their roommate? The key is that Wang Donger didn't use a tone of discussion, but truly treated herself as a young miss or the only princess, threatening Huo Yuhao. Could Huo Yuhao tolerate that? The two of them had no choice but to fight. The key is that Huo Yuhao is a spirit master of the mental type, and his hand-to-hand combat ability was limited, but you are a beast spirit user and you still didn't beat Huo Yuhao. In the end, you were scared off by Huo Yuhao's ruthlessness. 666. Threatening others to do work for you, acting mighty and domineering, as if you were the only princess. Turns out, when you discover your roommate is fiercer than you immediately get scared and don't even dare to continue fighting. If this isn't bullying the weak, what is? If this isn't using power to bully the weak, what is? And in a school setting, threatening others to do your work and take care of you, or else you'll make them pay. Is this not school bullying? I also can't understand how a character like N.A.N can have so many fans. Can you still expect the morality of someone who bullies classmates as soon as she appears to be noble? Xiaowu from Duluoi, when commanding the people of Dorm 7 in the story, that was because Dorm 7 already had a rule about choosing a boss. You, Wang Dong'er, didn't consider the situation at all and just bullied others like that. Is bullying people really that fun? Xiaowu was just a headstrong little girl with not much brain, but you, violating the rules of the God realm and bullying classmates, you are even more disgusting than your own mother. Song Yi believed that this point was not exaggerated at all. Because this is exactly how it is written in the original Duluo work. Wang Dong'er demanded that all future cleaning be done by Huo Yuhao alone, and he had to follow her rules for the rest of the dormitory as well. If Huo Yuhao didn't agree, she would use her fists to force Huo Yuhao to agree. In the end, it wasn't that Wang Dong'er had a change of heart, it was just that she couldn't beat Huo Yuhao. If she could have won, would Wang Dong'er have actively admitted her mistake? It's just like in modern schools, where a school bully threatens you to help them with homework, and if you don't, they beat you. If this isn't bullying, what is? Song Yi had also encountered bullying in modern society in his past life, and he hated these kinds of animals the most. Looking at the character Wang Dong'er, or Tang Wedong, Song Yi had not the slightest bit of affection. The other characters watching were also full of disgust. Objectively speaking, this is school bullying. Du Guyan, it really gets more disgusting the more you watch. Du Guyan, I can only say, this is indeed Tang San's daughter, she has completely inherited that selfishness of Tang San. And also inherited that headstrong nature of Xiao Wu. The only princess, although Xiao Wu was a bit headstrong, she wouldn't bully classmates for no reason. The only princess at N.A.N Academy, it was because they already had that rule, and Wang Sheng suggested fighting first, so Xiao Wu fought. The only princess and Xiao Wu didn't bully classmates at all at Shrek. The only princess, this Wang Dong'er is really not worthy of being Xiao Wu's daughter. Chapter 143, Tang San and Xiao Wu gave birth to a butterfly spirit. Tang San abused his power to open the back door. Bing Bing is polite, I also think that, in terms of being a beast. Tang Wedong is even stronger than her mother. Hot girl anyway, if there was someone like that bullying me at our Blazing Academy, even if I died, I would drag them down with me. Hot girl, it's not like just because we are in a Xuanwan world, campus bullying is legal and compliant. This is problematic, this is a moral failure, no doubt about it. Love eating carrots sigh, how could it be like this? Is it because of Tang San's influence? Bibi Dong, oh, a little beast. Seeing your daughter, you couldn't help but come out. Needle-tailed swift anyway, if I were Xiao Wu, looking at a daughter like this, I would doubt whether I should have been with Tang San in the first place. Most loyal believer of the sea god just like this, she will definitely be able to rely on Tang San in the future to obtain a god position. Most loyal believer of the sea god, I hope the god realm isn't full of these little beasts who don't follow the rules. Bibi Dong HMPH. It's just that I might not live for 10,000 years. If I, this seed, have the opportunity to face this little beast in the future, I will kill her directly. Bibi Dong Tang San's daughter is so disgusting, it just gives me a reason to take action. Goddess of light, you are all discriminating. Wang Dong'er didn't really want to bully anyone, what if she was just trying to protect herself? Du Guyan, are you an idiot? If she wanted to protect herself, she shouldn't have gone to the boys' dormitory. Who cares what she's thinking? Du Guyan, in short, the things she did are disgusting, this is bullying and this is problematic. Bing Bing is polite, still trying to whitewash this Wang Dong'er, what exactly is your relationship with her? Shrek Academy. Wang Dong'er's face grew increasingly gloomy as she watched the light screen, her fists clenched tight. Damn it, I didn't want to bully anyone. Didn't that Huo Yuhao end up not being bullied by me? On the contrary, I couldn't beat him. I'm a girl, and he's a grown man. Does he expect me to clean up for him, to make a girl do the work? Damn it. Wang Dong'er was now full of anger and defiance toward this group of people from the Duluoai era. These old antiques, what do they know about gentlemanly spirit? Can't Huo Yuhao just yield to me? As for why I came to the boys' dormitory and still wanted the treatment of a girl. I don't care, anyway, I'm not wrong. And they dare to bring up my mother. Right, my mother. Wang Dong'er muttered to this point and couldn't help but look at the comment section. This Bibi Dong said that love eating carrots is her mother. No way. I don't know either. With just that one sentence, how would I know what she meant? Wang Dong'er frowned and continued, forget it, I'll just pretend I didn't see it. I can't even tell if I'm Tang Wedong or Wang Dong'er, is this Xiao Wu even my mother? The memories in my mind right now are only so little. Anyway, when I fought with Huo Yuhao, it definitely wasn't my fault. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Ning Rongrong watched the light screen, holding Xiao Wu's hand helplessly. Xiao Wu, look, your daughter might have really learned bad habits from Tang San. Even when I was a little witch when I first came to Shrek, I didn't bully people, right? At most, I just scolded Daimubai and Oscar a few times. I didn't even use dirty words, I just talked back to Flender. Ning wrong side, your daughter has truly put it into action. This is still a bit too much. Xiao Wu heard this and could only shake her head helplessly. I don't even know if it's my problem or Tang San's problem. This is the daughter from 10,000 years in the future, I have no feelings for her right now. Moreover, I also know that, as it stands now, it is impossible for me to give birth to Tang Wedong. Then Xiao Wu, do you want to acknowledge her? That goddess of light must be related to your daughter, you can contact her through her. Zhu Qing asked, perhaps, through this light screen commentary, you and her can communicate directly across time and space. Xiao Wu still shook her head, forget it, Zhu Qing. We don't even know who the goddess of light is, anyway, let's just watch for now. Zhu Qing heard this and it wasn't appropriate to continue. The three women all watched the light screen commentary normally. In the light screen. As for the campus bullying, fortunately, thanks to Huo Yuhao's own strength, it passed. But afterwards, their lives would still have many problems caused by their different genders. For example, no matter what, Wang Dong'er is a girl. When bathing, the silhouettes that appear inadvertently are also graceful and alluring. For another example, Wang Dong'er's spirit is the radiant goddess butterfly, a spirit that legend says should appear on a girl. Speaking of this spirit, it is also the most speechless part. As everyone knows, Tang San's spirits are the blue silver emperor and the clear sky hammer, and Xiao Wu's spirit is the soft bones rabbit. And what is their daughter Tang Wedong's spirit? It is a radiant goddess butterfly, which I don't know where it came from, and the clear sky hammer. This can also be seen, the blue silver emperor comes from a woman, the soft bones rabbit comes from a woman. Yet Tang Wedong didn't awaken the blue silver emperor or the soft bones rabbit, but instead awakened the clear sky hammer of her father, Tang San. Perhaps Tang Wedong inherited more of Tang San's bloodline, it's no wonder she is such a beast in the future. And where did the radiant goddess butterfly come from? It was a spirit she awakened in the god realm, and Tang Wedong even obtained a tier 3 god position of the butterfly god. It is also well known that the ranks in the god realm are divided into God King, Tier 1 God, Tier 2 God, Tier 3 God, and God Official. And below Tier 3 God, for example, those gods from before who brought their relatives into the god realm, their level is God Official. These are all clearly recorded, no need to argue. Then, normal gods who want to leave must find a successor and then undergo the legacy trial to inherit the god position. And this kind of god position inheritance should be found by someone who is not a god to inherit the god position. But unfortunately, Tang Wedong was born in the god realm, she is already a god official, which is a type of god, just the weakest. She is already a god without a god position, yet she was still able to inherit a tier 2 god position in the god realm, and it is highly likely she didn't even go through the god trial. In all this, was there Tang San's influence? Did Tang San open a back door for his daughter and specially get her a tier 2 god position? In reality, these are uncertain because there is no clear introduction. But logically speaking, apart from Tang San opening a back door, it is impossible to repeatedly exploit loopholes and ignore the rules to get Tang Wedong a butterfly god position. This radiant goddess butterfly spirit would not have appeared without Tang San's intervention. After all, does this spirit have any inheritance relationship with Tang Wedong's parent spirits? It can only be said that Tang Wedong, or Wang Dong'er, from beginning to end, has always been violating the rules of the god realm and ignoring the laws. Chapter 144, the second generation 7 devils, all forced together. Teammates don't even know each other. In these 10,000 years, there were only 2 times they were the lifetime Shrek Academy. There is some ambiguity here, I don't know if it refers to Tang San's generation and Wang Dong'er's generation, or if there were 2 generations in between. But regardless, even a pig could see that this title of, Lifetime Shrek 7 Devils, is incredibly important. And yet, they give it to a team like this. The main team fought tooth and nail, were they not working hard enough, or did they perform poorly? They got nothing and became the clowns. And before the official competition, how much interaction did these 7 people have? Have these 7 people ever played a match together, or done anything together? Do they have any team spirit, or are they familiar with each other? A team like this actually manages to obtain this honor. And what about this, Lifetime Shrek 7 Devils, title? What use is it later? Either they separate, or some character just disappears into the background. For example, Xiao Xiao, who had relatively more character development in the early stages and had the best relationship with Huo Yuhao and Wang Dong'er, what happened? Did she have any screen time later? With a situation like this, they have the nerve to call themselves a team. I can only say that this Shrek Academy 10,000 years later is full of brain-dead people. The first team worked hard and prepared for so long, without even a consolation prize, and yet a second team with absolutely no team spirit is granted a lifetime honor. And they even supplemented the rewards. The competition originally only had 3 spirit bones, but the academy added 4 more so everyone got 1. Excellent, simply excellent. For 10,000 years, a full 10,000 years, not a single Shrek team could obtain such benefits. As expected, once the protagonist arrives, everything is available. Is it possible that in the past 10,000 years, there was never a time when a substitute came on and won? Didn't they say that once Shrek became powerful, they almost never lost? 10,000 years, a common generation is about 20 years. That's several hundred generations, and not a single generation had a substitute come on and win, right? Not to mention, this competition isn't held every 20 years, but every few years. How did a 1 in several thousand chance just happen to fall on them? And winning as a substitute, is that some exaggerated contribution? It's worth rewarding, but not to the point of giving them a once in 10,000 year honor, right?